All right, here we are. Um, episode 20. What did I say it was? Episode 22, right? Yeah,
22.
22.
22. The big 2-2 there.
Yeah, good fun. Good fun on the way to episode 22. Lots going on. As the heroes are deep under the gauntlight currently. And we'll see what they do after the last episode. We're going to pick up where we left off. Uh, but first, we are going to introduce our players. We almost got a full house tonight. We're going to have Patrick, we're going to have Kyle, and we're going to have Rachel and me, and Jesse off and on. So let's introduce the players and their characters. Dane, you go for it first.
What's up, my friends? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Abomination Bolts. I'm Kyle. I play Dane, the human fighter, soldier, refugee from Last Wall. Some say savant. I don't believe them, though. I don't have that high of charisma, but we shall see. And we're picking up in a pretty good spot. We had quite the engagements last session. I'm still alive, guys. I'm still alive. I've been knocked down once this entire campaign. I'm doing pretty good. How's everybody else doing?
How about you, Rachel? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Ready to play as Althea and get some spellcasting done once maybe we rest, because I'm down to just a few spells, and that's one of the joys of being a spellcaster, I guess. All these options that end up dwindling down the longer the longer you're awake and the more battles you're in. But we'll see what needs to happen, and if we end up taking a break or if we just trek on through. It really is all on Dane if he feels that he needs some healing.
Patrick, how about you? We haven't seen you in a while. What's going on?
Hey guys, it has been a while, I just came back from a small training exercise in Lithuania. Um, for anybody who is Lithuanian speaking, Akukad Primime, I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Thank you for having me,
Awesome.
as well as my fellow troops
Awesome.
over in your country. I personally absolutely enjoyed it, as well as some of my friends did. But it's great to be back in the States, and it's great to be back here, Fitz.
Awesome. That's awesome. That's good to hear. And we're glad to have you back. That's for sure. And you got a new mic on top of everything else.
Yes, so maybe now you can hear me.
And that outrageous accent of Magnolia.
Yes.
Excellent. All right. I'm looking forward to it. Good role playing tonight. Now, the last episode, who would like to recap? Now, the last episode, of course, was just a couple days ago on Friday. Does somebody want to get a hero point and recap that for us? Including Patrick. I'm not sure he's seen the episode. Well, yeah, if somebody wants to recap that, go for it. I just realized it's another group of characters. That's
Somebody
okay.
want to tag team it with me?
I wasn't there, unfortunately. I fell asleep halfway through the day.
Rachel?
Heard that.
I guess that just leaves me to tag team. Uh,
If you want. There's a hero
I'll
point
add the
in it.
charismatic flair. You can add the.
you always do. You always
Oh,
do.
you add the wiggly bits. I'll add the charismatic flair.
Oh boy, so this was Friday's session, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or the time before?
Could be a little bit of all that in there thrown in, but it was Friday's session featuring the other characters Valafor, Arthurian, and Lofter.
So we had the dream team
Yeah,
together.
yeah.
The pure muscle. Where did that one start? I know how it ended.
That was in Atari. That was at the Rowdy Rockfish. You were all sitting there having your dinner, and all of a sudden Lofter comes in. Hey, I've got news. Eyes are upon you, the companions.
Oh
And
yeah, he had heard news from Rince Vixie. And then we ended up going out into the woods.
Correct. There was a Clarencia Farindal, or Farindal, yeah. She was an elderly elven sage who Rin and Lofter agreed might have some clues regarding the gauntlight and Belcora, because she actually is that old. She lived back then. She didn't live in Otari, she lived in a small place outside. So she was here before when Otari first was built, and before that. Maybe she knows something. And Lofter and you were all in agreement. Let's head there and see if she can help.
Yeah, and when we got there, we found out it was actually, she was an older woman. It actually took us a couple knocks on the door to really get her outside. And she invited us in after talking. But something was off about her. She seemed a little sick. That's about it.
Yeah.
And it really did take all of us to kind of get anything out of her.
Mm-hmm.
But when we mentioned Belcora, she kind of freaked out a little bit, like many people do in the area. Like, why are you bringing her name up? Do you want to curse us all? And then she became even more concerned when we brought up the assistant's name, and we actually learned a lot of valuable information that Belcora's assistant,
Volek.
which I have his number around here. Not his number. I don't have his number. I have his name.
Wow.
But we found out that they were probably lovers. I think that's what it ended up being. And we all kind of took a mental note of that.
She said, come back the next day. Maybe I can help, she said. But she was desperate to get you out, and she was not well, and she coughed up some type of phlegm that Elias was quick to scoop up when she wasn't looking, but she was looking. Take it back to town. Maybe somebody can take a look at this, see what's wrong with her. You made your way out. You made a little makeshift camp. We don't want to go back to Atari yet, says Arthurian. I'm going to make a camp, and we'll do some owlbear hunting. You were all in agreement about that. Lofter leading the way, Elias at his side. Off you went, doing a little downtime, hunting owlbears. You didn't find exactly what you were looking for as the darkness settled in, as you tromped through the woods, cautiously, stealthily, as you could. You were confronted by a large grizzly bear, in fact. Not exactly an owl bear, but close enough. Battle ensued, and you slew the grizzly bear after wrestling it to the ground. Elias, wow, Titan wrestler he is. He did so, and you managed to overcome the grizzly bear. Strange movement in the wood, in the forest, howls, strange sounds.
We made a second encampment, and after we had so viciously maimed the maimer, as we called him, this big ass bear, and we then decided we were going to head back to the abode of this particular individual who Elias had so graciously picked up into a mug, the Granny Loogie.
I almost forgot about that.
And upon arrival, we found that the doors had been busted open. The place was ramsackled. Naturally, us being mostly melee-based combatants, we decided we were going to go wait in there and get us some. Little did I know just how much that would be. As I go bursting through the door, we start fanning out, searching room by room. We all hear some disturbances. I go bursting into the other room. This little short, little fiery little dwarf goes bebopping in there playing Pop Goes the Weasel, and there are 3 boars in the room. And they were not the bacon lovers that I am. And a fierce, and I do mean fierce, battle unfolded. There was grapples going everywhere. I got gored in the neck by one of these ugly things. He gave me a shave, and as a dwarf, I just know, you never shave a dwarf. Never. So, yeah, we were able to beat those little bad boys, and we all decided we were going to go out, see if we can head back to town. Upon exit, we saw a fella in a little cloak watching us. He had them little bottle cap beady eyes on us. I felt strangely violated. And we all took off. He took off, and I think it was me, Lofter, and Valafor at the time. We all started booking it after him. Valafor pulled a spear and gave it a mighty throw there and socked it in there. My battle brother there got him some, and the beast fell because he caught it right in the back with a spear, and it fell over into the shrubbery. We all get up there and find that it's a some sort of creature in a very ornate robe. Balfour pulled the spear out of the beast's back. We flipped it over. I had Arthurian and do some investigation, pull the robes off. It was indeed something arcane there. And then we discovered that it was indeed a ghoul. We found that out after the fact. So we all then, at that point, book it back to town, to Otari. I go to the Dawnflower and present this robe for investigations, almost. And they were very unsettled by it. The priest and priestesses, they were very unsettled by it. I know Valafor found an object, and he was going to rend Savixes to see if he can ascertain just what indeed this thing is.
Also, the carpet sample.
Yeah, also the carpet sample. I completely forgot about that. My bad. Thank you, Mr. Valafor, man. Appreciate
No
you.
problem.
5. I think
I
that pretty
got
much covers Friday.
So it's the 18th of Farast, and it's closing in on noon. We're going to start this off with Patrick's character, Magnolia. And let me get back to the Otari map. And we'll pick up from there. The Magnolia. It's closing in on noon. You're currently at the Crook's Nook. You remember last night, you remember the meeting yesterday with all the companions and then some at the mayor's residence, in fact. Very interesting encounter for you, seeing all these faces all together in one room. You've agreed that there's much yet to be learned about the gauntlight. And for you, even more so, because you have a little mission of your own. And you know, there is urgency for that as well, to get back to the gauntlight. The last you heard, your friends were heading off early in the morning. You got yourself caught up in something else, however, and couldn't make it with the group. But you were intent on heading there regardless, later in the day. As morning came about, you headed off in search of this contact, as he's known. You don't really know his name, but he was the one who originally kind of hired you on this other mission, separate from the companions. Eventually, you did meet up with him a few hours into the day, and you discussed your plan. I'm heading back with the companions, but I'm afraid they headed off before me, but I'll be following behind. Rest assured. And he agreed. Good. Your payment awaits you. You know what to look for. You made final preparations just before noon and set out on the way. But before doing so, did you want to do anything else or pick up any extra equipment or anything like that? You can do that now.
I have to check the prices on it, but I believe I can afford a longsword and a shield.
Ooh. Okay. Check the prices on those in the items directory if you can afford them. Make the deductions, drag them to your sheet, and I'll be back to you in a minute. In the meantime, Dane, Sheppi, Althea, and the cleric, known as Devon, you've just finished off these creepy looking creatures. I don't recall if somebody identified them or not. Did somebody identify these creatures?
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Althea
believe
did.
we did.
Yeah, these are ghoulish types, Althea. You recognize that, and I'm sure you share that with the party. But you're in this room. You see that glow to the south, that blue light. You see all these doors to the left and right and ahead, and they all have little signs. None of you can read these signs. You don't know what they say, but there's something scribbled above them. And they're nice little signs, too. They're not crudely made and scratched. You know, these are well done. In fact, this whole place looks pretty nice and well kept for what it is. Some type of library of sorts. Again, stone carved shelves containing lots of scrolls and books and folios of who knows what. Although there are many gaps in between these books. And of course, the four bodies of these ghoulish type creatures, dressed in crimson colored robes, are laid out before you. Dane, you took a particular beating, as you do when you stand up in battle. What would you guys like to do at this stage?
Well, I told you what Sheppi wanted to do.
And by the way, welcome Jesse, who is popping in and off today to give little instructions on how Sheppi would react to certain circumstances. So yes,
Remote play.
remote play today for Jesse. Dane, you're feeling the weight of adventuring. What's the first thing you want to take care of?
Yeah, I am feeling the weight of adventuring, but Dane is sort of also chopped up in this moment, so he's gonna be looking to make a little stash in these books, something where he can drop off some of the excess equipment that he's not using at all.
What you could do is you can make a little journal entry and write on it what you're going to put in it. You just put the names of the things in there and where it's located. If you want to leave it behind. So I can remember. So we'll all know where you left this stuff. Just a little journal entry. And then just remove them from your sheet. When I get time, I'll drag the proper things, items to your journal entry. You can retrieve them. So make a little note. Adjust your encumbrance. That kind of thing. How about you, Althea? You look over and you see Dane shifting through his pack and his equipment. He's up to something. You also notice he's quite wounded.
She's not going to interrupt him. Whatever he's doing, healing can wait. She doesn't want to get involved. He's tossing around big sharp things, so best not surprise him. Instead, she's going to take a look around and kind of investigate this door and listen.
Okay, you're going to go up there and take a look. And while you're doing that, Sheppi, any idea what Sheppi's doing right now?
Sheppi is going through the books and the scrolls, trying to locate what was given off the magical aura. And also, he'd like to take a look at the signs and see if he can read them over the doors.
Okay. Devon remains behind, helping out with Dane. Can I help you, my friend? You're wounded for sure. Maybe I should call upon the powers of Ayamode. How bad are you? And I can see you're at 19 out of 44. That's pretty bad.
Dane has a very sharp look as he's still... This particular fight is still fresh in his mind. He looks to Devon. I'm fine. Thomas. Fine.
Thomas. Yes, Thomas. Yes, my friend. And while that's going on, Althea. Well, first of all, Patrick, did you finish what you were doing?
Yeah, I'm finishing it right now. If it's all right with you, I would like to sell my glaive and my javelins as well.
Okay, half price. Half their value you get back.
Ooh,
You don't
that's
get the
unfortunate.
you don't get the full value, you get half of the price. So if it's worth 10 gold pieces to buy, you sell it for 5. You get half its price back.
And I can only pick up a wooden shield. I wanted a steel shield. But that's fine.
No stealing shields. Come on.
It's not
Alright.
against...
Yes, I know. All right, and while you're doing that, we'll go back to Althea. Althea, you approach this door. You can see there is that label above it. You can't make it out whatsoever. Okay.
And if she hears nothing, then she'll open it.
All right, blind
Slowly.
perception. Blind perception. Okay. You hear silence. Nothing. You reach for the latch. It's not locked. And you push it in. Now, Sheppi, you're rifling through these books, right? You're just looking for anything that looks magical, right? Something arcane.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Dane, you go ahead and click on his token and give him a blind perception roll as he does. This will take some time. So we'll leave him with this roll and do some other things while he's doing this. And then I'll give you the results later.
Should be on the way.
Got it. Let me jot that down. If you'd like, Dane, says Devon, I'll use your bandages. I could probably try and heal you up at the very least. And he'd like to make a medicine check, of which he's particularly good at. He's done this before.
Dane will stand up, sling his shield over his back. Alright, let's make it quick.
Alright, he's going to do the standard DC 15. He's an expert at medicine, but he's going to do the standard DC 15. I'm going to take no risks with a friend. I'm going to make a medicine check. I'll make this public. Alright, so we got a 22. It's not critical success, normal, so 2d8 hit points back. Let me roll that for you. Look. And you can just add that to your hit points. 12. There, that should help, my friend. And let's see, that's
Thanks,
gonna,
Devon.
You're welcome. That'll be 2 10-minute turns gone by. And Sheppi, you're still looking through this. There's a lot of stuff going on. And as you do so, I'm going to assume you're looking more to the north, because if you start going to the south, you're going to be heading towards that blue lit room. Would you like to head in that direction? Everybody else will be behind you. You'll be about 20 feet away from them.
I don't want to get too far away from the party, so I'll stay to the north.
Okay. You work your way up through all these books. You don't find anything, but you can see that the corridor begins to turn to the right, to the east. If you can visualize from what you remember, since you can't see the map. It goes about another 15 feet to the east, and you see a door at the end of this 15-foot wide corridor, hallway, library, if you will. And you continue your search. Nothing's standing out. You see a lot of old scrolls, some of which just crumble when you reach to them. But otherwise, all this stuff is mostly pretty intact. Okay, we're going to come back to you. Now, Althea, you've cracked this door. You peer inside. Let me move your token in just a little bit to simulate you peeking beyond the door. You're not actually in there. You're not actually in there. This is what you see. You see shelves on the wall, and they contain iron sorting racks, jars, and all manner of, looks like bookbinding tools of a sort.
She'll step inside
Okay, you step inside.
and head to the desk on the back wall.
Okay, you do. It's just a short little walk, and there it is. It looks like this room was where they did book repairs or bound books or scrolls. That's what it looks like. These are tools. And it looks very old. They haven't been used in, could be hundreds of years. Covered in dust. Okay. Back outside the room. Well, let's jump back to Magnolia. Magnolia or Patrick, did you get that taken care of? You're all set?
Yes, I have 1 silver piece to my name.
Yeah, you're welcome to the group here. Anyway, it's about noon. You've decided to set off. You feel you're all prepared and all ready. Got a little liquor in you. Yeah, ready to roll. Let's go. And you head off. It's about noon. You can see the gauntlight in the distance. It's usually about 20 minutes walk, maybe 30 if you take your time. Now, would you like to hustle to find your friends? Now, here's the thing. What you want to do is up to you, but if you're going to follow after your friends and find them, I want you to make a survival check to track them down. But by doing that, tracking, you're going to be moving at half pace. Now, you don't have to do that until you reach that gatehouse. Or as soon as you get to the gatehouse, I'll ask you for a survival check. You don't have to do that on the path leading to the gauntlet. But I'll assume you make good time to the gauntlet. So we'll say about 15 minutes go by to get there, okay?
Okay.
Nothing happens. It's still midday, nothing unusual. You don't hear howling wolves chasing after you. And you make your way to that gatehouse. You see the barricades that formerly were there. They're kicked in. This is familiar to you. Doesn't look like there's anything new here. Now, at this point, go ahead and make a private or a blind survival roll. Okay. Now, again, I'm assuming you're going to try and follow your friends the direction you went, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and make that survival roll. All right. It's not too difficult to guess where they went because you've been in here in 2 different directions. You came down that hole underneath the pier outside, but there's also this area that you were most recently had entered above. And you remember to the right, there was this one chamber that had steps leading down below. You don't see any of those blue creatures around. You make your way to that chamber. You make your way down those steps to the familiar level 2, we'll call it. You've been here before. And when you get down there, following in behind where you're guessing where the party went, and remember that secret door. and you step out beyond this secret door. Well, you know what? And as soon as you step out of it, you see that there was something propped up against it. Like somebody was keeping this open slightly. And you remember that this door was really hard to see from the opposite side. Dane did that. You're on the right trail. You step in, and as soon as you step in, you hear shifting feet off in the distance to the south. Something scurrying about. You remember those gremlins are down here.
I think Maggie would head in the direction of like the scratching and be like, they're probably with the gremlins.
Okay. Now here I want you to make a choice. Now, when you came down the steps to this level, okay, if you go the way the party went before and that you remember, you're going to have to confront Strong to get to where you need to go. Or there was a secret door in that chamber, if you remember, another secret door, which led out into a wide, 15-foot wide corridor in the east. Dane had peeked out there. You remember that as well. If you'd like to go that direction, you can do that instead. Otherwise, you're going to have to go south and work your way past Strong. And remember, you're alone. You remember Strong. You assume he remembers you. And they said they wouldn't harm you. So those are your likely options, following the path that you're on. It looks like the party went south, the direction of Strong. But you do remember that alternate route, that other secret door. However, you'd be going in new territory. You haven't been up there. So I'll give you that option.
No, Maggie's gonna go after the party.
All right, you're going south. All right.
Yep.
So you're going to make your way south, and I'll briefly describe that as you do so, you do catch sight of those blue gremlins. They don't confront you. In fact, they kind of back off into the shadows, which is a good sign. And you continue on to that chamber room where Strong supposedly has taken refuge, where King Growlgust previously was. It's a relatively safe little trip. You make your way back, and you're greeted by King Strong. There he is. One thing that's unusual is that there next to him, on his throne bed, where King Growlgust formerly was, you see the rotting head of what looks like Growlgust. Just dark, matted hair stuck to the head and the decaying flesh. Black spots where blood had dried, and his jaw just hanging open loosely. Up on a pike it is, says King Strong. You look for your friends, yes? Take them! Take him away! Lead her! Her. Take her! To where we led the others! And two little gremlins pop out of the shadows. Come! Well, they don't speak common. They lead you in the direction of the party. You trust them, correct? Or no?
I would trust them.
All right. They lead you further north. And they lead you to this one chamber that they seem very hesitant to enter. Inside, you see what looks like some type of bone shrine. It looks like it's held together with rags and strands of rope. You see the skull at the top. Do you approach?
Sorry, say it again. It's a bone shrine.
A bone shrine. It looks like it's in the shape of someone. All right. As you approach and enter the chamber, and it's dark and menacing, to the right looks like this a portal. There's a chamber, a corridor you can see. But more importantly, in front of you, you see a body in front of what looks like this shrine. It looks like it's been here quite a while, but not that long ago, maybe a couple of weeks. Somewhat decayed. And as you approach the body, you see all these cuts along its legs and its chest and torso, like as if it was some part of some ritual in front of the shrine. What do? Do you want to examine the body? Do you want to look at the shrine? Both? What are you doing?
I'm more interested in the body. What I want to check for is if it's if it's someone that I'm looking for, essentially, or whether this is just someone that is just happened to get in the wrong thing, essentially.
Gotcha. All right, give me a blind perception check as you look it over.
Okay.
As soon as you approach the body, you see it instantly. There on the shoulder. Tattoo. You get closer to it and, yep, you've seen it before. This was on the boat. This was carved on the boat. This is the symbol of the Osprey Club. Whoever this is, whatever was its demise, was probably a member of that club, according to this tattoo. This could be what you've been looking for. At least one of them. The body has been stripped for the most part. It looks like it was sacrificed. The way the cuts are on the body, it's pretty apparent to you. But you see,
Okay.
you see nothing else.
With that, Maggie would do, like essentially a quick prayer motion, where she like touches, she touches her left shoulder, drags her fingers across her chest to her right shoulder, and then gives the body a nod and prays that their soul goes to the realm of Ioma Day before continuing to follow these blue gremlins.
The gremlins didn't enter the room. In fact, when you look back, they're gone. They're nowhere in sight. There's two doors to this chamber. It's a double-doored chamber where this body and shrine are, and they're still open. And that's where the gremlins, you last saw them. They were at the door, pointed and mumbled some gibberish, and while your back was turned, they must have disappeared. So currently you're in this chamber. Looking down that little side chamber you first saw to the north, it looks like it was some type of hidden door. It looks like there was mud around the side trying to hide the seal and the edges of this door, but it's somewhat open. You can peer inside, and it's just this dark, goes as far as your torchlight, this dark corridor, and you peer in and you see what looks like boxes? No, there's sarcophagi all along the walls. There might be 4 or 6 of them. Can't tell. They're pushed in. On the opposite end, and the far end, is a door, and it's closed. You pull yourself out of this chamber, and you try and think, where would they go? They must have been down here. That door's shut. You notice another door to the further end of the room, to the left of the shrine. And this shrine, by the way, if you'd like to take a closer look, you can go ahead and do that. That'll be another perception check. You go ahead and roll that if you would like. In the meantime, Althea, you're checking out this chamber. Is there anything you're doing at this point? It looks like a book mending or book binding room, perhaps? Just a small
Yeah,
little room.
she just wanted to check it out. She'll consider it not of a lot of importance, and will exit to find another door and kind of investigate that.
All right. One thing before we go any further, your exploration activities. I think, Althea, you were using, was it search?
I believe so, yeah.
All right, that basically means I'm going to be making perception checks for you if anything comes around, particularly with traps and secret doors and that kind of thing. That's really what that is about. You're keeping your eye open for those things. Devon, I think, was on defend, as was Dane, I believe. Do you want to be on defend, Dane?
I'd actually like to switch to scout.
Scout, okay. And Althea was on search. And Sheppi, are you there?
Yep, I'll search as well.
All right, you're going to shift to search? Okay.
Yep.
So you guys don't have to constantly ask me to make perception rolls to do this. You're already doing that, unless you want to specifically search something or investigate or do something specific. Otherwise, I'm assuming you're doing that. And I'll get to your marching order when you start moving again. Okay, Althea, I guess you're going to vacate this room.
How big is that room, Althea?
Not as big as you think. It's just a small room.
About 10 by 15?
Possible room to camp out in?
I don't know. There's a few pieces of furniture in there. We might not all fit. If one of you want to sleep on the table or under it, sure.
We're quite small.
We are. I'll keep looking around though. If I find some place to camp out, I could use some sleep. I'll let you guys know.
And Sheppi, your search continues. Knock off some more time here. Spent about a half an hour here. Dane, would you like to do anything at this point? You're half an hour into this.
Yeah, I'd like to, first of all, he's going to cough twice and then walk over to this door holding the left side of his ribs. And he's going to open it.
Okay.
Sword raised, of course. And I'd like to open that and peek inside.
Doesn't seem to be locked. You can easily pop the latch. And by the way, these doors look like they've been used. Doesn't look like, boy, this door is ancient and hasn't been opened in 500 years. Nothing like that. Perhaps these creatures were quite active in this chamber, you think. As you lift the latch and peer inside, there, Dane, you see it once again. An empty chamber. Several buckets of sand and a number of large barrels seem to be crowded in this very cramped storeroom of sorts. Simple wooden case with a closed lid is attached to the back of the door itself. You notice as you open the door and peer around behind it. Again, a simple wooden case with a closed lid is attached to the back of side of this door, the opposite side, just hanging there.
Okay.
Do you step inside and check this out?
Yes, I would like to, one, see if there's anything inside that little box, and two, break one of those bigger barrels open and see what's inside of them.
Gotcha. Okay. And while he's doing that, another 10 minutes. Althea, what would you like to do for the next 10 minutes or so? As your friends are obviously doing various investigation tasks. You got Sheppi up to the north. You got Dane, somewhat wounded, checking out to the east, disappearing behind some corridor. Devon, close behind him. You suddenly, strangely, find yourself alone.
If anything, Althea feels a little bit at home in this surrounding, because it reminds her of the Dawnflower Library. Sure, everything's a little bit older and more aged and dusty, but she's going to kind of venture down south and investigate this door, because she hasn't been inside there. And she will slowly open it, or attempt to, but she won't even listen at the door. She'll just, hello?
Soon as you reach for the handle and pull upward, it immediately just doesn't budge. It's locked. It's locked.
She shrugs. Well, there's nothing I can do if it won't open. And then she'll make her way up towards where Sheppi is, assuming that the other guys have the eastern corridor handled.
Okay. Let's cut back to Maggie at this point. That'll be another... I won't take 10 minutes for that. Oh, you wanted to listen at that door too, did you say? Or no? Oh, you said you
no.
wouldn't listen. Okay.
Yeah, she wasn't going to listen.
All right. No time to do what you did. Let's go back to Maggie. Magnolia. Do you continue your journey to the east, or do you want to go down the path of the secret corridor that's dark and cramped and spooky? If you follow your friends, you're not sure which way they might have gone, actually. You don't see much evidence at this point.
Yeah, the only evidence I'm seeing is that they probably wouldn't go into a room with sarcophagi or boxes or whatever it was. So I probably go in the other doorway.
Exactly. You make your way through another what looks like an empty chamber. You follow it, and you get to a point where it leads past a few doors on the way, but you sense you're in the right direction. And it looks like they didn't come into these chambers. They just continued on. And as you take that guess, there before you see the familiar pond where you had first met the companions and also fought some type of drake. You also see to the right, maybe 20 feet away, you see the dinghy that you had found much earlier when you were on this pond yourself. You're in familiar terrain now. Beyond where that dinghy is located, you remember that there was some type of sickly roots colored white that would drain heat of some sort. You remember that. But seeing the dinghy where it is right now, that must be where they went. Now at this stage, if you'd like to do a little swimming, you could get over there. You want to do that?
Yeah.
All right. So you're going to have to pop in the water. But there's a way to do this without much complication. You remember Elias did something similar. Jumped in the water, no damage, but you can pull yourself along the sides. You can keep grip of the sides to prevent from falling under or sinking under because of weight and encumbrance. So there's no roll for that. And you could make your way all the way to the other side. Now it's a 5-foot pull, so I'm going to ask an athletics check just to see for my own purposes. You go ahead and make a public athletics check. This will be public. Okay. Althea, you're alongside Sheppi now, and you're looking at what he's doing. He's rooting through all these books, and he looks so excited. He's looking for something, but he doesn't seem to be finding it. I know it's here, he says.
Help me. I think we can find something magic.
She'll notice his struggles. Sheppi, are you looking for something? I've worked
Yes.
in the library. Maybe I can help. I can't read the language, but all
Sure.
libraries are the same, right?
Sure. I'm looking for scrolls and spell books. Very useful, or maybe even you too.
I'll keep my eye out.
Good, good.
But I haven't seen anything else. The previous room I was in had some scrolls, but I don't think that's what you were looking for.
Maybe. I don't know. Are we close to the area with the glowing blue light?
No, we're on the opposite end.
Okay.
Yeah, you're in the north. The glow is coming from the south. There's some kind of chamber to the south. None of you have really paid much attention to, but you have noticed it's got this blue glow emanating from it. There's no doors, just an open
Is
chamber.
it similar to the gauntlight blue light in the top floor that we were at?
If you'd like to take a closer look, you can do so. You want to
Okay.
head down that direction?
Does everybody want to come with Sheppi?
Well, they're on the way, really.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah,
Dane
we're
will
technically the
step out.
farthest.
Dane will step out and offer a few coughs and a nod. Find anything of note yet?
Keep your eyes open. I have found
Okay.
I haven't seen anything yet, but maybe if we keep looking around, something will pop out at us. Hopefully not alive.
It does. I'm ready. Dane says as he stands there holding the left side of his ribs, longsword in the other hand.
Is that a hint that you need more healing?
It's his flavor. Yeah, but Dane will follow along behind.
Okay, so you all head south towards this glowing blue chamber. Now, Maggie, you've made your way across safely. You've pulled yourself up. You see the dinghy boat alongside you. You see the little dirt beach, if you will, and you see the roots. You see a set of steps 10 feet away from you, beyond the other side of the roots. You remember at the very top of here, Elias had found a secret door heading west. Right at the very top of the steps, it was marked. You also remember further down this corridor, you encountered an undead giant horned beast, a minotaur perhaps, and defeated it. But it was a horrifying battle. It was where you got your glaive, you recall. You rush up those steps, being careful not to touch the white roots, and you do so with no trouble. You make your way up to the top of the steps, and you take pause. You see the secret door, for it is ajar just slightly. In other words, it's opened just a little bit. Somebody passed through here. What do you do? But yeah, you're standing right in front of a secret passageway. And the corridor itself continues on beyond this, not beyond, but adjacent to this secret door. So you have a choice here. Let's go this way towards that chamber where I found the glaive and defeated this undead being. Or go down this secret passage whose portal is ajar. Someone passed through here, and you're standing right in front of it. Do you follow that route or not?
I would follow the footsteps. So the secret passageway.
Okay. And you make your way through that passageway. You see almost immediately, heading to the north, a set of descending steps. You remember briefly peeking into this chamber when it was first found, and you remember this set of steps. Surely they've come this way. Or maybe not. You're not sure. The trail is kind of off here. You don't see anything in particular that shows anyone passed through here. But that doorway was ajar. Somebody rushed through here. You take the guess and you continue on. You find yourself, after about 30 or so feet down these steps, you come into a corridor that goes left and right, east and west. It's just then. Give me a blind perception roll. Let me make sure I'm in this map. I'm going to pull you to this map here. You won't see anything, but just 1 second. Perhaps blackness is better. As soon as you step into this corridor leading east and west, and it looks like there's another one heading to the north. There's like 4 exits to this corridor. You turn to the west and look down it and see this just black, empty chamber up ahead, but all of a sudden you hear something. Something behind you. You abruptly turn. You hear the clang of a sword. You pause. And you hear a sickly sound of it sounds like flesh hitting stone. What do you do? This is from behind you, in the direction of the east.
Like flesh hitting stone?
Yes. Sickening, isn't it?
It's very specific.
Sorry, Patrick.
I imagine I have a torch at this point, right?
You will.
Yeah, okay.
Can you see now?
Yeah, I can see.
All right, to the east, to your right, there's a door there. You can see it. That's where the sound is coming from. You see nothing to the west but an open chamber. Steps to the south, and it looks like another corridor with steps in it to the north. The sounds were coming from the east. It sounds like battle.
Yeah, go towards battle.
Okay, Dane, what's behind that door? There's a little case. It has a little lid on it. It's not locked or anything. But you carefully pop it open and look inside. Looks like there's some kind of, maybe 6-inch long. It looks like a stick. But it's a well-designed stick. It's got carvings on it. Strange carvings you've never seen before in your life. And on the one end, you're just looking at it at this point. It looks like there's a claw. You're not sure what it is. It's about 6 inches long.
Interesting. Dane will pick it up with his left hand.
You reach in with your left hand without wearing gloves, and you grab hold of it. And you pull it out. Nothing happens. You can see that the etchings along its side are saying something. It looks like a language you've never seen before. Some type of runic type things. It actually looks pretty ornate. Nice. It's got a
Does
nasty looking...
Sheppi see this?
No. You're
Okay.
heading to the south towards a glowing chamber. I'm picking up
Gotcha.
where he entered the room. Yeah, but you're not sure what it is. What do you do with it?
I will hold on to it.
Okay. I'll drag that to your inventory in a moment. And then we'll finish the look in that room. Now you guys are heading to the south. And just as you do, the door opens to your right. Let me drag you down there near Devon. Magnolia? You've startled the companions. You recognize them instantly. What do they see? Standing in the doorway.
They see they see a familiar strong woman, now dripping with like not only swamp water but also sweat, and carrying a new long sword and wooden shield.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
All right, so Magnolia has entered the chamber shortly after a battle was fought. Taking her time, she opens the chamber door, and there she steps in, knowing friendly faces are in front of her. You don't recognize this one individual, kind of steps back. He has a sword drawn. He looks towards you with caution. He also looks to the right, to the north, in the direction of Dane, who's now entered and disappeared into this chamber. Dane, it looks like the barrels once held water long ago. There's nothing else in here. It's very damp. Other than that, you don't see anything else. There's no water in the barrels at the moment, but it looks like they at one time did. They don't smell like wine or oils or anything. It's a very clean smell, although old, mildewy.
Okay. And he will exit the room, and that's where he sees Magnolia make her grand entrance.
Yes, that's about right.
Dave will walk over. Nice of you to join us, Miss Maggie. Could have used you.
I'm certain you could have. Unfortunately, you left before I was ready, so, you know.
Well, are you ready now? Dane says as he stands there holding your ribs and such and whatever. Did you encounter any trouble on your way?
No, actually, it was more beneficial. I saw a new sight, a body in front of a strange shrine.
Well, I hate to drop this particular bombshell on you, Miss Maggie. That's a shrine to Dane begins looking around, waiting for anybody else to chime in here.
Belcora.
Thank you, Sheppi.
No problem. The
I
evil
thought she-
ghost.
Yeah. It's not good.
Not good at all. This here's Devon. Dane will motion for Devon to step up.
Greetings, my friend. I'm not sure we've ever met before, have we? I don't recognize your face.
If we have, it was in nothing more than a passing.
And he nods his head. Well met, and takes a bow. You notice his sword is quite ornate. Somewhat religious looking, as well as a weapon of war.
Do I know what type of sword it is?
I was gonna look at your character here because I know you have some information on that kind of stuff. Let me look at your sheet, see if you might recognize something. Skillage. Heraldry. If you want to try and recognize it, go ahead and make a lore check. Lore. Or religion. You have a better chance with your lore. Other, it's called. Strangely. I guess one's intelligence and one's wisdom. You have a bonus in that? I don't know. You're untrained
Yeah.
in both. So make a lore check, other. D20 plus 1, essentially. You know, nothing clicks for you, although it seems to have some type of religious significance. And now that you look at Devon, you see that he is somewhat of a religious type person. He wears a symbol that you've seen before in the past, and it's the symbol of Seren Ray, or not Seren Ray, Ayamode. Sorry. Ayomade. So you do recognize that. Perhaps he's a cleric. And yeah, and if you want, you guys can continue moving south and we'll take care of that. Devon, you've come out of the room, or Dane, you've come out of the room by now, right?
Oh, yeah.
Shut the door?
Yes. But as they go south, I would like to move over and investigate this door.
Oh, okay, so you're going to go over there while they do that. Ah, okay.
I'm gonna finish checking this corridor. You guys yell if you need me.
Devon remains in place. He's watchful of his brother-in-arms. Maggie, what do? You see the goblin and gnome kind of paying attention to Dane, but then looking further south and heading towards a strange blue glowing chamber.
So the chamber that Dane's heading towards is glowing blue.
No.
No.
Sheppi and Althea are heading towards a blue glowing chamber.
It's all the way to the south, and Althea asks Maggie, "Have you seen anything like this before?"
No, nothing of my, particular skills.
Do you extinguish your torch, Maggie? Or do you keep it going? There's 2 light sources at the moment besides your own. That would make 3.
Yeah, I would extinguish it and probably get my longsword out a while.
All right. Shing. And while we're at it, what exploration activity would you like to partake in while you're traveling? Just describe to me what you're doing.
Yeah, I think at this point, now that she's actually met with the party, she's getting more in like a defensive stance. Now that she realizes like how deep they are into enemy territory.
All right. That means you'll start a combat with shield raised, so I assume you have your shield.
Mm-hmm.
Good to go. All right. So you'll start the combat with shield raised, if there is any. Now, the gnome, you guys proceed south, closer and closer to this chamber that's glowing blue. And as you get closer to it, you see what is causing that blue glow. It is, in fact, a ribbon-shaped entity. Almost like the green one you saw previously, but more like the blue glow you saw much earlier above. Do you remember the round chamber when you were fighting this ghastly shadow creature? You briefly entered this one chamber, and in its center was this glowing, it was a ribbon shape, essentially, at its center. And all around it was just this blue light glowing and emanating. In fact, the longer you stood here, you took horrifying damage. As you were in this chamber close to the light, you were taking damage while this battle was going on with this shadow being. Do you remember that? You also...
I think Sheppi was there.
Sheppi was there. And he remembers because he entered the room as well, and he hopped over this husk of a giant worm-like creature to try and escape. Althea had run into this chamber. And you remember, all of you looked in here and you saw something very similar. a strange, glowing, what am I looking for? In the center of the room, reaching to the ceiling and the floor, there was this glowing blue.
I think you described it as a ribbon of mists, or
We'll go with that.
This is
wisps.
the wispy.
Yeah,
Wispy.
yeah.
That was a
The
common
wispy,
term.
yeah.
Yeah.
A ribbon of wisps.
Yeah, you see this in this room. This is like that other room. And it's basically in its center, there's this long ribbon-shaped thing that's kind of swirling around wispy. And it's glowing and emanating this blue aura all around it, filling this chamber. This chamber's smooth stone walls glisten with moisture, despite the air being dry and somewhat stuffy. Several low, couch-like chairs are arranged in a circle and interspersed with low tables between them, stacked with a few books and what looks like rotting morsels of decayed flesh. You could see it clearly. It's sickly. It's just sitting on the tables. A twisting ribbon of pale blue light stretches between the bare floor of the room's center and the ceiling above. Its points of contact sending creepers of what looks like infected tissue out in a distorted spiral for a few feet. So it's this ribbon shape, but at its ends near the floor and the ceiling, it looks like it's like just body appendages or whatever, sinews coming out of it near the floor and near the ceiling. It's a sickly looking thing. And again, all around this area, you could see it on the map. There's these little sofas and tables in between. It looks like plates of flesh just rotting there. Althea, immediately to your right, you hear a noise. You look, you see something moving. Just then you hear another noise. You look to the opposite direction, over here on your left. You see a blue claw pull itself out of sight. It was sitting atop the sofa, but pulled itself. There's something there. Sheppi, you don't see this. Now, Magnolia,
Okay.
you followed behind as well, correct? I'll assume you followed Sheppi and Althea.
Yeah.
You see it as well. There's something hiding on either side of the entrance of this chamber before you go any further. Sheppi, you don't notice this. And you blindly step into the chamber. No. What do you do? What would Sheppi do?
Sheppi says, could this possibly be the Canker
Okay,
they were speaking of?
I'm going to have you make I believe you wanted to make a recall knowledge check.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to roll a die. I'm going to check my oracle. Okay, you don't step fully into the chamber. So from where you're standing, unless you want to step into the chamber, you can make that roll to recall knowledge. This will be either religion or arcane.
Which one's better, Dane?
Arcana. Should be on the way to you, Fritz.
I got it. Outside of the chamber where you originally seen this before in that one room above, you've never seen this before. Outside of what you already know, nothing new comes to mind. Now again, the three of you are standing at this entryway. Althea, you've noticed something in here to the left and right, as does Magnolia. There's something hiding really close to you, like 5-6 feet away from you. I now would like you two to roll initiative, as well as Sheppi. Yeah. So
Well,
you,
as soon as I see it, I've been patiently waiting to talk. As soon as I see it, and I do get creeped out, but I point it out, like Sheppi's right next to me, and
Okay.
I'll nudge him with an elbow and point. Even if it's not there by the time he looks, I still point in that direction.
okay.
Look.
Uh, so Sheppi, you're going to roll initiative as well. So Dane will do that. Until something noticeable happens here, I won't put Dane in the initiative. But yeah, I'll put Devon into it because he's watching. He's paying attention. He would see any sudden movements and alerts coming from the gnome and the barbarian. So I'll put him in there as well. But Dane, I'm going to get to you next. But everybody else is going to be in initiative. And then I'll let Althea point this out right at the top before initiative was rolled. So this will alert everybody. Hence, Sheppi gets in the initiative as well. And you'll all be able to react. Sheppi, you have no idea what you're reacting to. And Althea and Magnolia, you know something's hiding in here, right in those locations adjacent to you. It could literally attack you. It's that close. So you know something's there, but it's obviously keeping hidden. All right, so you can react to that, whatever that is. And of course, I think one of you, I think it was Althea, saw a hand. So you know there's something creepy in here. There's going to be combat. Okay. All right. And let's jump to Dane. Sorry, Dane, I left you hanging there. Now, there's two doors where you're sitting while this is all going on. There's two doors where you're sitting. There's one in the east and one in the south.
Yeah, I would like to investigate the southern.
Okay, it's not locked. You reach for the latch, you pull up. You see a table, a chair. While this room might have once served as what looks to be a writing room, a writing studio perhaps, today its condition has been all but obliterated by dozens of tiny swatches of skinned flesh marked with tattoos. You can see it, and it's all spread on the table. Judging by the workspace on this table in the middle of the room, these tattoos that you see have been placed post-mortem, with a swath of pale skin stretched over the desk, sporting a half-completed image of a sinister female, a woman. Make a will savings throw. No, I'm kidding. Shocking.
Having been an expert soldier, seeing this sort of shakes Dane a bit as he steps into the room. He hasn't heard about the commotion yet. Though he will see if he can identify some of these tattoos.
As soon as you step into the room, all of a sudden, behind you, you hear shifting motion. You turn about rapidly, and there you see it. Another one of these ghoulish, ghastly-looking creatures. This one has an apron on. This one has a bladed instrument in its hand, and it's right behind you. You will roll initiative as well as this creature.
As Dane sees that Dane is just going to bellow a battle cry.
You will.
For last wall. He's gonna echo it.
All right, let me move you into the chamber right there where this occurs. The door is open, and this creature here, we're going to put in the combat tracker. So we've got a lot of things going on here. A lot of things in the tracker. And we're going to go to that tracker. Now remember, just because we roll initiative or in a combat tracker doesn't mean you have to attack. Okay?
Of course it does, Fritz. Of
I
course
know,
it does.
I had to say that though for you, Dane, because I know what you're going to do. All right, let me roll some initiatives here. He starts speaking to you in common, recognizing you as a human, perhaps. Why do you disturb me? Why? Why are you disturbing me? I have work to do. And you see now that in his other hand he has a piece of flesh, perhaps from the table. He otherwise stands there at the ready in a defensive posture. He takes no other action. Devon is up next. Of course he is. He's an NPC. Devon hears the noise behind him, coming from the direction of Dane. He's obviously gone into a door, but he also hears gasps coming from the south. And with that, he's going to take a stride action. And he's going to move up here behind Sheppi. His sword is drawn. What is going on? What is happening? What is this glow? He says while he does so. And he's going to ready an action to immediately lash out with his sword anything that comes close from wherever that might be. Next, we're going to go to this creature. There, Magnolia, to your right. Okay, we're going to go to the next creature. Althea. It's at this point you've just pointed this out, and everyone has looked and saw where you saw that hand over to the east, right next to you. You saw a hand, so go ahead and pick up from there. This will be your 3 actions.
She'll cast Bless, just to be safe.
Okay. On yourself or everyone within 5 feet, I think it works.
I think so too. I thought Oh, I clicked blind. Let's get this public so I can read it too. There we go.
Blessings from beyond. Help your companions strike true. You and your allies get a +1 status bonus to attack rolls while within the emanation, which is 5 feet. Once per turn, starting the turn after you cast the bless, Althea can use a single action, which has the concentrate trait, to increase the emanation's radius by another 5 feet, or by 5 feet. Normally it has a 5-foot emanation to begin with, so that would make it 10. Bless can be counteracted by Bane. So everyone within 5 feet of her, yeah, there you go, is going to have Bless, +1 to hit.
Yeah, you can move the spell effect Bless onto your token, so that way when you do whatever kind of attack, it'll account for it in your stats. So you'll do that for Sheppi too.
I'll get it, Dane or Kyle. All right, there. All right, so that kicks into gear. That's 2 actions. You have 1 more action. It also affects you, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. All right.
And I will also cast Shield, because sure.
Why not?
It's 1 action.
What does it look like? What color is it? What does your shield look like?
It matches the same blue aura. That's the same blue ribbons.
So it's effectively invisible.
As long as that blue light shines, yes.
All right, good, good. All right, Maggie, you're up. Your first turn in the game for a long time, Patrick. Now, again, to be clear, there's something 5 feet away from you. It's within attack range. But to attack it properly, you're going to have to make a flat check. You don't know what's there. But there's something hiding there. And there's something on the opposite side near Althea who she pointed out. There was a hand. There's something there. It looks familiar. Ghastly looking thing. There's something. There's a pair of hiding beasts in here.
Yeah. I am going to begin by searching for whatever was next to me.
Okay, seek action right next to you. You can do that. Go ahead and make a perception roll. Blind. Oh, you see him. You see him. He's going to have cover, but you see him.
Mhm.
You see what looks like this. You could just make out his flesh from as you peer in and around. He's kind of hiding between the wall and partially underneath the couch. He is prone. But you can see him, and it's this pale bluish gray flesh, sickly looking. And he's not looking at you, but you see him. There he is. So you've spotted him. Now, if you want to, you could point out. That's another action. You can point him out and say, over here, it's a ghoul. He's hiding up between this and that. What else do you do? You got one more action.
I'm gonna rage.
Of course you are. All right, Dane, we're going to cut to you now as Maggie begins to seethe. But you're more focused on this creature that you've just spotted appear behind you. You've walked right into this room, almost like a trap, but it doesn't attack. What do? It speaks in common. Why did you disturb me? Why?
I'm gonna hold an attack. I'm gonna hold an action.
All right, ready in action.
If it attacks, I'd like to counterattack.
All right. And with that, you're kind of at a standstill.
Kind of, almost. But hearing this thing speak common, Dane will pipe up, still in a very combative stance. I'm a veteran soldier of Lastwall. Surrender, and I will show mercy. Do it now. Either that, or can I use intimidating glare here?
You gonna attempt to demoralize him? All right, demoralization is different. That's a charisma. That could have the same effect. But this is very combat related, and it causes him to be frightened, which may be more useful than surrendering. So go for that.
Okay. Blind, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay. He pauses for a second looking at you, but he grips tighter on his blade. Ah! Looking threatening. He doesn't seem to be intimidated by your glare. And I believe we're going to go on to the next creature.
Yeah, that was sort of me. I gave it a fair go.
You did. Okay. The one next to you, Althea, the closest, to your left, suddenly crashing over the the little couch that's there, the couch just tips right over, and you see this ghoulish type of creature suddenly appear, and it lets out a hiss, and it reaches towards you with its claws. You are aware of it, however, but it is no longer hidden. It has revealed itself, and it's basically making an strike at you with its claws. And it hits. It's not critical. It's going to do some damage with its claw attack. This is against Thea, who is currently blessed. You're going to take 2 points of slashing damage as these claws rip across your shoulder. After being stricken, I need you to make a fortitude save. Yeah, you go ahead and make that save. That's it. So, all right, nothing seems to happen from that claw attack. So it's going to do it again. And this will be its last attack. It spent its first one getting up from being hiding, pushing aside this couch. And as it did so, it reached out with its claws, barely touching you. But it did it so again. It's just coming right at this little gnome. And once again, it misses. And with that, we're going to go to the next creature.
Oh, if I...
What happened?
Never
What
mind.
happened?
That's what I
did you
get
do?
for going to get some Tums. I was going to say, I have my shield raised, but it was just 2 damage. That's fine. Because if I used it, then I wouldn't be able to use it for 10 minutes anyways.
Right. Sheppi's totally aware of what's happening. He can... well, he sees the one. The other one by Magnolia I revealed. I'm just going to say it's also revealing itself. He can see it clearly. So, what would Sheppi like to do? Is he here?
All right, I'm here, so
Okay.
Sheppi reaches into his mind, decides to open up with a flaming ball of death.
Yes.
Flaming
He pushes the
spear.
gnome aside. Flaming spear. And he's going to kind of nudge Althea out of the way and put it in the square with the ghoul that just attacked her.
All right. Got to make a save. Reflex save for this creature. Let me do that. And it's a DC
19.
19. Okay, let's do that reflex save. As it tries to avoid making contact with this glowing, flaming ball of death. It fails! It fails!
Roll that damage, please.
Takes a whole 7 damage, Fritz.
Okay.
Okay, that was 2 actions.
Mhm.
And for my last action, I'm going to try to intimidate it with an evil glare. Take that, you evil creature. Die like the rest of you.
Okay. You've shaken it to its core. You did so. What is this? Frightened 1. Okay. And let me do that. And that'll take us in the round 2. That's going to be the ghoulish fellow up where Dane is. Boy, Dane, you're all alone up here. Not sure where your friends are. He begins to speak to you. You will die. I will carve tattoos on your flesh for interrupting me. And he lunges at you. Prepare yourself. Is your shield raised at this point? I'm not sure.
No, I don't even have it equipped, and I did
Okay.
ready the action, so
Alright.
he's mine next.
Alright. He's going to make an attack on you with his claws and dagger. So he reaches towards you. I guess you didn't intimidate him too well. As it reaches at you with its claws and a blade and in its other hand, you feel those claws just rip across your chest and on your neck, tearing into you, doing 30 points of slashing damage. However, you don't feel any other effects of the attack, except the raw pain and the blood dripping from you. from under your armor at this point. He really gashed you. And I believe that's going to drop you.
Got one left, Fritz.
Oh, you're still up. Wow. Okay. That healing really saved you because that was a critical hit. That would be dying 2.
Yeah.
All right. Wow. It's like fighting boars. Good old
Got
Dane.
one more, Fritz. I got one left. That's
Wow.
my only hope now.
Wow. All right. That was his first attack. And its second attack is going to be with its open maw as it goes to bite into that open wound it caused on your neck.
Dane just screams help.
This one is with his jaws as he tries to clamp onto you with that nasty tongue and teeth. Oh, it's yellow and infectious looking. Okay, and that's going to be a hit. He's going to hit once again. He's going to clamp onto you. What's your armor class?
20.
Okay, it's not critical this time. This will drop you, however, so put yourself at 0 as you take 22 points of damage. And you drop to the ground, dying 1. Okay, and we'll leave that. Actually, I'm going to have you make a fortitude check. You go ahead and roll this. Just give me a... This could be... No, don't. It'll be blind. Make it blind. And make another fortitude save. You're basically making 2 of them, one after the other. Okay. All right, and you collapse to the ground. All right.
Like, I had absolutely no chance, guys. Like, absolutely none.
Yeah, we're in trouble, I think.
Pineapple!
Pineapple, pineapple.
Too late for the pineapples.
I tried screaming pineapple, guys. Little bastard ripped my throat out before I could. But now it's like I said, did I scream loud enough for you guys to hear me?
You guys could hear him. No check needed. You recognize his screams of battle, his battle cries, so you know something's going on. And Devon, he's kind of confused at the moment because he sees opposition to the front as well as behind. He hears this battle cry. So I'm going to check my oracle on this. All right. He's going to immediately, with sword drawn and shield braced, I'm going to take that off because it's no longer raised. He's going to haul. He's got 25. Let's see if I can use my keys here. No, too slow. There's 25. And let's see, what is he going to do now? All right, he's going to do another stride to get up here. And he goes to open the door. He's going to let out a scream. It's locked! You guys down below aren't sure what's happening with Devon. And with that, we're going to go to egocentric. This guy's up next, the one next to you, Magnolia. And he leaps up, and he comes tearing and ripping at you. He's got 2 actions left. He had to stand up. He's going to attack you, Magnolia, with claws. You see these exceptionally long fingers with dastardly looking nails on them, black nails. Both of them, both arms come swinging at you. And I believe your shield is raised.
Yes, it is.
That's a good thing. And it is going to hit. It's not critical. Its damage is going to be normal. As these claws begin to sink into your flesh and tear at your armor. 5 points of slashing damage. All right, let's make that for Magnolia. Okay, no ill effects. Next up is going to be Althea. So essentially, you've got these ghoul creatures that you recognize earlier. Same kind of thing going on. They got kind of red robes on and everything. It's not in the picture of the token, but use your imagination. And they're attacking you, Althea, and Magnolia. But you're more focused on this. What do you do?
I'll cast Sanctuary on myself, so if they try to target me, they'll have to roll a will save.
First of all, your bless.
It stays.
What's the
I
duration?
only have to 1 minute.
Okay.
I only have to concentrate as a single action if I want to increase the range.
All right. What you're not going to do?
Which I'm not going to do because the party has split once again, and she heard screams from down the hall, so we're going to chase after the scream. Although it's going to take many turns to get there, but this is what Althea would do. So she casts Sanctuary to protect herself, and she's going to travel her full speed, which is 25 feet. And that is it.
And that bless surrounds you, right?
Yes, it does.
Okay. There it is.
I did not mean to cast it twice. There we go.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Keep an eye on that sanctuary thing. All right. Next, we're going to go to Magnolia. You're at Magnolia. You got a ghoul confronting you right in front of you, and opposite on the other side of the wall. Closest to Sheppi, there's another one.
Yeah, so I am going to take my long sword and attack the guy right in front of me.
Whoops, did I just raise your shield? I did.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That
There we
goes
go.
away.
All right, go ahead. Make your attack.
Strikes. Yeah.
17. That is a hit. Roll damage. Normal. Wow. 13 points of slashing damage. It howls and hisses as it feels the bite of your blade. It is now badly injured. You've practically crippled this beast with one blow. Yes.
In that case, if I badly injured it, I am going to... Yeah, I'll finish it off if I can.
Okay, another attack number 2.
Yep.
16 is just a hit. Normal damage. This will be slashing because you didn't say piercing. So we're going to do that. We're going to do 12
do I have the
points.
option to choose?
I think a longsword has versatile. I think.
Yeah, you can do slashing or
Oh.
piercing. Your choice.
Oh, it does. Yeah, I would do slashing.
All right. You cut once again, and it just crumples to the ground, and you recognize the sound of its flesh as it hits the ground with that splat you heard earlier. Sickening. You have one more action.
And then I am going to move in front of Sheppi and this ghoul creature, basically blocking them off from each other.
Gotcha.
And I turn to Sheppi and I go help the others.
All right, this one's just been injured. He's not looking too bad. You step in front of him just when he was attacking that little gnome who seems to have slipped from his grasp. It's going to continue his attacks, but it's going to do so on you since you've entered in front of its claws. It's going to attack. And it's going to miss miserably. It's going to attack again, this time with its jaws. It tries to clamp onto your arm as it's exposed. And it's going to hit. It's going to be some damage, some normal damage. Let me roll that. Okay, you're going to take 2 points of piercing damage. This time it's going to use its claws against you. You're a hardy maiden for sure. And it misses miserably. So you're doing your job. You're keeping him from the goblin and the gnome, and he hasn't had any real impact on you. So you're blocking him. Next, we're going to go to that, and then we're going to go to Sheppi. You're up next.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to move. Can I see the one that was attacking Dane?
No. He's in a different chamber down the hall. So he's well out of visibility range. However, Devon has disappeared in that direction, and Althea, you see her, she went in that direction as well. Standing next to you is Magnolia. She's standing between you and this ghoulish creature. So she's kind of protecting you.
How far away is the doorway to Sheppi?
2 strides if you want to get to Dane.
I am going to maintain the fire ball in tiny square. So he's
Okay.
going to have to make a will save.
That's 1 action to sustain.
That's my first action.
Okay. That's 1 action to sustain. It's going to have to make a saving throw. Let me do that. Reflex, right?
Yeah.
And what was
19 BC.
19? Okay, it easily avoids taking any damage from that flaming sphere. You have 2 more actions.
All right, I'm going to move towards the doorway. Not to the doorway, but within range of the doorway. I want to be at least 30 feet from the doorway. So for my final action, I will yell out an intimidating swears and
Yes.
everything else I can think of at the whatever just knocked down Dane, telling it it's going to burn in the flames of hell, and I'm going to burn it to death. I'm going to try to intimidate it.
You do your screaming.
Go ahead, Dane.
I got you, Bubby.
Thank you.
This is getting kind of tricky. It comes up to like a 90-degree bend here. So you won't be able to sustain the little fireball.
Well, he
once
comes
you
outside
vanish.
it.
Yeah, but once you vanish around that corner.
All right,
All right,
try
Dane,
not to.
Dane, you're up next. The first thing you have to do is make a recovery roll. Flat check. You need 11 or greater.
16.
16, you are no longer dying. And you're wounded 1. But you remain unconscious. Of course, no one else knows this. They don't know what is happening. Okay, you take care of that, and we're going to go to Ghoulish Fellow. Devon, again, you guys probably don't hear this, but Devon hears hollering and screaming from beyond the other side of the door, and it's not Dane. Something's going on. Something has our friend. Yeah. All right. Next, we're going to go to Devon. He's immediately going to try and force this door. All right. So let me make a athletics check for him to try and force this door. Okay. Let me make this public. Well, he got an 18. Which is enough. The door caves in and crashes before him. You all hear this. Anyway, I'm going to move Devon into the room with his second action. He takes 5 foot. Doesn't really matter. And then he's going to spend his third action laying into this guy. Devon moves into the room. He sees him clearly at the head of the table. He steps in, lets out a battle cry to Ayamode, and swings at this creature with his final action. I won't say nothing, Dane. I would describe this scene, but it's too ghoulish.
That, and it's just Devon in here right now. Save it for them.
I know. It's terrible. His emblazoned longsword. I only got an 11, so that's a terrible miss. His turn ends. We're going to go to dead creature. Let me remove him. We're going to go to Althea. Althea, you're up. Any questions? I don't think so. You know what's going on. She's going to move 20 feet. And there you can see. What you see as you look around Dane, who's swinging at one of these ghoulish creatures, you see this long table. The smell of flesh is all coming from this room. You see one of those ghoulish creatures with an apron and a knife in his hand, and he's hovering over Dane's body, and it looks like he's cutting into his body. And as this happens, Dane is spread out on the table. What do you do? 2 actions. And I believe your bless follows you. Don't forget that.
It does.
Sanctuary.
Let me get my measuring tool out. And then move it back to the to the other tool. Token controls.
Yes, don't forget.
All right. I do want to do something, but it might accidentally injure allies, so this is only good if I'm ever cornered and by myself.
I'm already dead, so you can go ahead and, do that. There won't be no friendly fire here.
Well, if you're unconscious and you take more damage, then you go back to dying. Even if it's from an ally.
That's fine. You're here.
Well, next round I could stabilize. No. Plus, if I attack, then my sanctuary goes away. So instead, You know what? Maybe I will attack. I can always just figure another way. I will
I've got
cast.
heal. That would be
Yeah, I know
after
Devon's
Dane,
still
though.
got a heal.
Damn it.
If it for those who really needs it, the voice of Dane pops in his head.
Did enough time go by that we at least got a focus point back? Maybe? When we were searching?
You have to actually say you're refocusing. It's an action.
Yeah, refocus is like an exploration activity. I think it's technically listed, but it's time. So I'll just use electric arc. So my sanctuary goes away, and
Okay.
I shall cast that.
Ah! He feels the pain. He screams. Vile wretch, he says in common. Looking in your direction, he turns about.
And I still have an act. Oh wait, no, I moved. All right, that's it. I forgot about the movement.
Magnolia, you stand alone. The glow of this room is all the light you have. Your friends have abandoned you once again. What do you do?
Hold on.
Of course, you're seething right now, so you don't recognize this situation.
Yeah.
I don't care. Kill.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose, she's gonna strike at this guy in front of her.
That's what she knows best. "13 is going to be a miss. Your blade crashes against the sofa leg.
Yeah, so then she, after breaking the sofa, she comes up with a, underhand strike going, like across his chest for her next strike. There we go.
And that cuts deep into its flesh. Roll some damage. Normal. Slashing normal damage. Ooh, 9 points. It pulls back in pain as you cut both its arm and its chest at once. And that it? Do you have another one more action, I think?
Yeah, one more action. And then she's, since there's no one really to protect at this point, she's just gonna follow up with one more swing.
Okay, go for it. Nope. That misses. And we're going to go see what that creature's response is. Here. Here. And here. Kind of maneuvering its way around you, leaving itself open if you only had the opportunity to strike before it does. And then it strikes. Claws come reaching at you as you turn about to follow its movement, but it's to no avail. You're stricken, almost critically, from its claws. Doing a magnificent 3 points of slashing damage. But hold on, there's more. As these claws sink deep into your flesh, Magnolia, you feel your bones stiffen. You feel your arms slow. It's hard to move. What's happening? You have become paralyzed. And next, suddenly, across opposite the glowing light that's in the center of this round room, and you hear the footsteps coming up behind you. The one ghoul in front of you ceases attacking you, Magnolia, and kind of pauses there, just waiting to strike. Something is coming up behind you. You cannot move. Darkness and obliteration enter your mind. Searing pain pierces your skull. You're going to take 80 points. Or no, I'm sorry. Did I say 80? Wow, what am I thinking?
Oh my god.
Wow.
Like instant
Pineapple,
dead right there.
pineapple.
Just leave me and run, guys. Just leave me and run.
That was so cool, though. You take 8 points of negative damage. Okay. In addition, you're going to take 1 point of persistent bleed damage. As blood begins pouring out your eyes, out your ears, and your nose begins to drip as you stand there frozen in place, paralyzed, the pain searing your mind and your brain.
What level 1 spells do I have? I
You
forget.
got Burning Hand, Shocking Grasp, Grease, and Acid Blast.
Alright, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my meta spell for Reach. And I'm going to cast Shocking Grasp on the creature.
You're at 35, so that won't work, but you can do it against the closest ghoul. He's about 20 or so feet away. You want to hit him instead? He's attacking Magnolia. The main one's too far away.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, go for that. So Shocking Grasp on this one almost dead.
Overkill.
13.
13.
Would you like to use a hero point, Sheppi?
Yes, please.
All right, Fritz, you know what we're doing now. Hero point that bad boy.
You
And we're
are.
going to sock it back in there.
What does he get? He gets a 26. That is...
Double.
That's a critical. Critical damage with Shocking Grasp.
That's a lot of damage.
So 16 doubled.
Describe.
Electrical hands appear around its neck and squeeze and just lets out a burst that just fries its eyeballs right out of its head, and its smoking head just drops to the ground. It's dead.
That's good. Give,
Nice.
give Sheppi a hero point for that awesome description. I liked it. The head just pops off and falls to the ground.
Looks like we're playing with Lego bricks.
Yeah. All right.
All right, Sheppy's done.
Good try. But it's not enough. As we go to round 4, Dane, you're up first in your new initiative spot. And you are unconscious, so I guess there's nothing you can do.
I can be here in spirit.
All right, we're going to go on to this ghoulish fellow. Why do you disturb me again? And he looks at Devon after reeling from an electrical shock. Or was that what it was?
Yes.
Yeah, that arc. That's what it was.
Not as intense as the, grab. That electrical grab.
Right. He's going to take a 5-foot step, and then he's going to attack Devon with some claws. This will be his first attack. Second action. Devon, I don't think has his shield raised. No, so it's a 19 armor class. Oof. Oof. And Devon is dropped. He collapses to the ground as this creature with knife and claw tears him, just repeatedly clawing, in some kind of vicious, savage attack upon him. And you see this, Althea. You see your new friend, Devon, just collapse under this hail of claws coming from this sinister-looking ghoul. And that was not critical, so he's at dying 1. Leaving him 1 more action. That's going to be a hard corner. He's not going to be able to reach you, Althea. So... the door slams in front of you, Althea, and you hear it.
Well, he closed the door, so my next move is not going to happen. I literally have 1 spell left, and none of them are healing. I have the guidance from my pendant, but... Well, first action, I'm going to try to open the door.
Seems to be barred.
I figured, but waste of an action. So I rush out. And I use my third and final action to point out that Devon and Dane are dead. I just scream it out at the top of my lungs. What's happened? They're dead! Oh my god!
Is it pineapple time?
She is
It's
tentatively...
been pineapple time, Bubby.
Yeah, she's tentatively wanting it to be pineapple time, but she's afraid that if she leaves, the creature will devour them, just the way that it was behaving. And what she's seen so far with these ghoulish creatures and how ghoulish creatures act, that they'll be eaten, and she's run back to regroup. Because if you can't take them out separate, which, you can't, maybe we can work together and then focus. So this is the end of my turn, was running back and then yelling out.
All right, Althea, you pull back away from the door in absolute terror at what you were seeing. Dane is in there. You don't know what's happening to him. You saw your friend Devon fall under a barrage of claws and a knife attack. And then suddenly the door slammed, and you heard motion behind it as if something was bracing it closed. Running back to Sheppi. You see down to the south, you can see Magnolia just standing there in a stance of battle, facing you, Sheppi and Althea. But more menacing, and more importantly, in the glowing light itself, you see this really sinister-looking, ghoulish-like character with his hands just the way it's pictured on the token, his hands outstretched. This big, red, long tongue extending from its mouth. And he looks ominous with that glow behind him. And with that, we go to Magnolia.
Well, I see Althea and Sheppi, and I know they were helping Dane. I don't see Devon, so things are starting to look bad.
Yeah, very, very much so. There's really nothing you can do at this point except have these thoughts in your head. So let's go to the end and go ahead and make... you're going to make... I'll let you make 2 saves here. One is for the persistent bleed. You take 1 point, so knock off another hit point. right now. And then make a flat check, actually. It's not a save. A flat check. Here it is. Persistent damage. Yeah, it's a DC 15 flat check. So just make a D20 roll. This is the stop the bleeding. Your body can kick in here. Just a flat D20. You need a 15 or greater to stop the bleeding.
Are we counting the 9 as something else, or?
The 9 was that was your that was another check
Okay.
for something else. So just roll this. All right. All right, that was a 10. You needed 15. You do not stop the bleed damage, so you'll take another 1 point of damage, bleed damage, in the end of your next turn. However, this previous roll that you made, now that I look at it, that's a flat check as well. So I'm not going to count that because the other check was supposed to be a savings throw, which was fortitude, which you didn't do. So make a fortitude check. Save, I should say. Fortitude save.
I'm really good at those.
Okay.
Can I use my hero point?
You can.
All right. No.
Oh. As the blood continues to pour from your body, you remain frozen in place, stiffened. You can't break free. And with that, we're going to go to this new entry into the combat, who sees and hears the hollering and screaming of Althea as she enters the corridor. He looks down beyond this barbarian and he sees the goblin and the gnome ahead. Intruders, you will die, and I will eat your flesh, he says in a low voice. He's going to move up alongside this victim of his, the barbarian, right adjacent to you. And then begin waving the hands and speaking in strange, archaic tones, looking at you, goblin. I'd like you to make a fortitude save. This one you can make. As this dark wave approaches you, seeming to focus in as it gets closer on you until it's almost like the point of an arrow aiming right for your chest. You're going to make a fortitude save as it impacts your body. This is a basic fortitude save, which means if you're successful, you will take half the damage that is about to hit you.
I thought it was fortitude.
Mm-hmm.
15. Sheppi, do you want me to hero point that?
No.
You sure? Things have
I'll
turned
take it.
sideways here in a hurry, Bubby.
Okay, you're going to take 10 points of negative damage as this wave penetrates your chest. This is negative damage. Something you're becoming quite accustomed to, it seems. And Sheppi, you're up next. How do you respond to being hit by this dark energy?
Okay, what's the range
Body.
now?
Alright, Shep, he is 25 feet away.
Going to use meta magic again with a shocking grasp on the creature.
All right, so he's within range. This is deadly.
Alright, I'm rolling, Bubby. Send me some good luck.
The gods are with you.
It better be.
Let's get a net 20, please.
That's a 14 in total. Would you like me to hero point?
Yes, I would like a hero point, please.
Try that again, Fritz. 13.
All right, so 14.
That's rough.
It does not hit.
That's it. I'm done.
So sorry, Sheppi.
Round 5.
It's all right.
Dane, you are still unconscious, sadly.
What's it doing to me?
At the moment, nothing.
I know you, Fritz. It's doing something.
Maybe. Devon, he has to make a recovery roll. Flat. He needs an 11. Let's make that roll. He needs an 11. 13. All right, he just passes. So he's unconscious now. He can get rid of this dying condition. And he will be unconscious. And Ghoulish Fellow is up next, and then Althea. So you think about what your next move is. Okay, Althea, you are next.
So would you guys all hate me if I just ran away?
Not at all.
Yeah. With tears in her eyes, she looks at Sheppi. I'm so sorry. I'm powerless. And runs here. And up the stairs.
Okay.
And an additional 25 feet after that into the next map.
All right. I'll take you out of the initiative. Unless you change your mind. I'll make you,
Nope,
I'll make
there
you
is
invisible.
absolutely nothing I can do.
Let me make you invisible. We'll keep you in there. Because you can... All right, now, what is your intent? You're pretty much at the top here. You're at the...
Well, our healer just ran away. We're in trouble.
It's audible. Pineapple boys lead. Go.
Yeah.
All right.
As soon as that they closed the door on me, I was just thinking I'm gonna have to run. So if Sheppi had bless on him,
That ain't a
it's,
thing no
it's
more.
still with me if you follow me. You just gotta be within 5 feet.
It's okay. It's okay. All right, Magnolia. You're up. Now, once again, you can't do much except just think. Go ahead and make your 2 saves. One is going to be for the bleed damage. You're going to take 1 point of bleed damage right now. So mark that off. And then do a flat check D20. You need a 15 or greater to prevent further bleed damage in the future. So this is for your bleed.
All right.
15 or greater. Flat D20. 10. All right, so you still have persistent damage. Now, this save is going to be a fortitude save. And this has to do with your paralysis. And that was a critical failure. Do you have a hero point?
No, I just used it last round.
Oh, the tears tonight. I can't believe this. I can't believe it. You remain in the grasp of this paralysis. And Sheppi, you see this. Magnolia, you see this from the side of your eye. You see this new ghoulish type of menace begins to step forward away from the barbarian and down the hall towards Sheppi. And he's now only about 10 feet from you, Sheppi. And he begins speaking in common tongue. He begins to look down at you. He's 10 feet away and his hand reaches out to you as one long hand. And he begins to command you. You will fall down to your knees and to your face. Prone you will lay before me. Your flesh will be consumed. You're going to have to make...
Yeah, Sheppi's going to say no,
You're gonna have
and hopefully he passes.
You have to make a will save to be able to even think the word no. This will be a will savings throw. So go ahead, Dane, make a will savings throw for Sheppi. 12.
I can also hero point that if it's too low.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Come on, Dane.
All right, Dane, here it is.
Trying, guys. I'm trying.
23.
Dice gods.
You resist.
23?
You resist the command to fall prone.
Thank God.
I imagine you scream back in common, "No, never! You will die, you evil beast!"
Yeah,
You will
something like that.
burn. You will burn. God, I sound as evil as him. Oh, man. I love this game. Okay, with that, he moved. That took 2, so he's done. And we're going to go to you, Sheppi. How do you respond as you shrug off these words to command you?
I hate to do it. It's not in my nature. But seeing Althea run, he's going with her.
Booking it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing the same kind of moves that she did.
It's
Just
okay.
Get
You
on
don't want
that.
to do it, but you gotta do it if you want to
Yep.
live.
All right, you can make it up there in your 3 strides. You get up to the top at least up to where the secret door is, and you can see Althea come within sight as the two of you make your way up your escape once again from danger, the both of you. We're going to come to Magnolia. All right, first of all, take 1 persistent damage. What's your hit points like, Patrick? Where are you at? 41 hit points? And then they would do a flat check, 15, to prevent the persistent damage. Need a 15 or greater. And that stops the bleed damage, so you'll no longer take bleed damage. That's gone. So you can remove that from your conditions. Footed rage.
I still take the 1 point from
Yes.
Yeah.
You did take that. The save that you made occurs at the end after the roll damage. Now you're going to make a fortitude save to resist the paralysis.
Yes, my day is good.
And that is a critical success. You're once again just with all that force of will, you push it off, you stop bleeding, it begins to stop trickling, and not only that, but your arms pull free from this freezing in place. You're still seething. You saw your friends ahead, thinking wise of themselves and their lives. They ran off to the west up that door that you first entered in. I'm going to take Althea and Sheppi out of initiative. Where are you heading for in your memory, Althea? And I'll assume you wait just enough for Sheppi and the two of you. Where are you heading?
The exit. Althea's not looking back, so she's going back the way she came, past the worm room, past the religious room with the double doors, taking a left through that
All right.
corridor.
All right, we'll leave it at that. I will take you out of the initiative for the moment.
She's basically rushing to go all the way back to Otari
Yep, that's the
to
end of
get the
this.
other heroes. because that's all she can think to do.
Right.
Help! I need help! 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 Because she knows if she goes back to King Strong, there's nothing that he can do. However friendly they may be now.
All right, so Magnolia, you finished your turn, and it is now the creature in front of you, the one who paralyzed you. Dane, your character is still unconscious at this stage. Not sure if you're alive or dead. We'll see. But you're out of the combat effectively. What I will do... No, I won't do this. Take that back. This is with Patrick. So if anyone else wants to take a break for 5 minutes, you can do it now. Except Patrick. Because he's pretty much the only player at the moment. I am going to kind of resolve this. I mean, everybody's gone anyway, so what happens really isn't to your knowledge. But you're free to stay and watch anyway. Just for 5 or 10 minutes. That's our break. And...
Okay, I'll be right back then.
Okay, Rich.
Same.
All right. He is somewhat distracted, watching them escape. Not sure what to do, but he pauses and he hears the seething breathing behind him. And he sees you. He turns about once again, Magnolia, staring in your direction. He turns about and he sees you. And he begins to wave his arms once again. Words begin to mutter, looking in your directions. His eyes squint. Let's see. I want you to make a basic will save. You shall serve me.
Do I just roll a will save for that?
Mm-hmm. Basic will save. A will save, basically. Okay, you're going to take 1 whole hit point of mental damage. So yeah, it's going to come to you in round 7.
All
Now,
right.
what would you like to do?
Now, I imagine he sees me, but I currently don't see him on my map.
He's up that corridor where you first entered. Somewhere in the darkness, he's looking at you. Which makes your situation even more dire. You'd have to pull out a torch and light it to be able to see him, essentially. So, this is up to you. You know he's up there. You're not sure how far away. You know where the exit is. You know where you're standing. You're no longer paralyzed. You can't see him. You're not even sure if your friends are in here. But you saw Althea leave. Her feet glow with a light spell, so you'd see her disappear.
Yeah. When Althea and Sheppi left, did I see Dane or Devon?
No. Ever since the combat started, they were out of sight. You have no clue what they were up to and what happened to them, but you have not seen them since then. So you're clueless. They could be alive and ran away, and everybody left you once again. They're always leaving you, Magnolia.
All right. I am going to put away my shield, pull out a torch, and light it. Or I think that's just my full turn to even do that.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
You had a torch out initially. I'll let you have one I'll let you use that same torch tucked in your belt. You didn't put it away because you just had it out. We'll assume you had it in your belt. I think that's fair. You could pull that out for an action. Your shield can remain, although it's not readied. To light it, I'll let you spend an action to do that. I'll assume you have it in a pocket in your chest because you just used this thing. It's not in your pack. So it's a turn to use that. And you have one action left. So after 2 actions, your torch is lit. And there he is. So you have 1 action left. Your
Right.
shield is still on your arm.
Yeah, I'm gonna move to there.
Okay, 30 feet. All right. And looking down that hallway, you don't see anything but closed doors. But opposite you, there is a door that's open, and that's the direction Sheppi and Althea went. All right, you're done. He watches you as you pass by quickly and rapidly, and as you near that corner intersection and take pause, as you're in mid-run perhaps, he starts muttering and his hands begin to motion once again. And a ray flashes from his hand in your direction. Black, tendrily type flash. All right, let me roll this. You try and dodge out of the way, which you don't. But it's not critical hit. You are impacted by this ray, and you will have to make a fortitude save. Go ahead and make that. Okay. All right, you are going to be enfeebled. As this enfeebling ray strikes you, you feel weakened, you feel slowed. And pulling out my cards here with the enfeebled condition, what that means is that take a status penalty equal to the value, which is 1. Yes, it's 1. To any strength-based rolls and DCs, such as your melee attack rolls, strength-based damage rolls, and athletics checks, and so on. So essentially, your attack and damage rolls will be -1 penalty, as long as you're enfeebled.
Mm-hmm.
And you're up next.
All right.
3 actions. And you're raging. Would you run away when you're raging? Would you cower? I'll take away your rage if you do. I shouldn't give you that opportunity, you know. You should
No,
face him in
that's-
battle. Come on. Your friends have left you yet again. You must finish this foe and prove you are the real hero. You know you are, Magnolia. What do you do?
Normally,
About
normally
magic.
she would face down this foe, but seeing how her friends left in a dire state,
That's fair.
she's more concerned about them, and more specifically Dean.
Okay, you have no clue where Dane went.
That's the only thing that Magnolia knows, is that before all this kicked off, he went down this corridor.
Yeah,
So
yeah, you're right. He knows. She knows that. So you would assume they're down that corridor.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going to assume that they're down that corridor because I haven't seen them left at any point. So she's going to rush here. and attempt to open this door.
It seems barred. Solid. You'll have to force it.
All right. Kick down the door.
Okay. Make a athletics check. You have enfeeblement, so it's -1.
Yep.
You can just roll it. And I'll mentally subtract 1.
Well, it already has -1.
Okay.
So
All right. So that's the result?
Yeah.
All right. Your shoulder goes heavy into the door. Doesn't even budge. And we're going to go to the irritable. He is quite irritable at the moment. He's going to take a stride action, and he once again comes in view as you put your shoulder into this door. And you see him appear once again, and he turns to face you, and he begins to hunch, and his tongue is even longer, and just going left and right, and he's hungry, he's drooling. He hungers for the flesh, living flesh, living flesh. It's got 2 actions remaining. Things are getting a little different now, and I think he's going to start getting very primal in his lust for flesh to consume. And he's going to spend another action to charge forward at you, and he's going to just lay into you. And this time, he's going to try and bite you. Okay, and your armor class is 18. And make a fortitude save once again. You're going to take 18 points of slashing damage from these claws. What do? You're next.
is there any way I can get away from him?
You'd have to tumble through. Unless you have a feat that lets you knock him down and push your way through. You'll have to tumble through.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for tumbling through.
Okay. I believe that's acrobatics. So just make a acrobatics roll. Against his...
Ugh.
What'd you get? Oh, you don't have any hero points?
Nope.
All right, you freeze in place. You waste your turn. You have 2 more actions.
All right. I'm gonna check the other door.
Okay. All right. There's a latch on it. There's no lock in sight. You just open it.
Yeah, I'll just open it if it's possible.
Okay, it is open. That's your second action.
All right. Step inside.
You do.
Can I close it?
In this case, I'll let you. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Close that door. Slam. But your movement is done.
That's fair.
That is fair. All right. Okay. Let me see what you just walked into real quick. You see bunks. You see what you see from where you are. Foul-smelling room. Smells of death and decay once again. Not unusual for the chambers here. However, you hear movement. You hear motion. Coming from inside the chamber around the corner that you see. And then we're going to go to the creature. You see him step forward and shut the door. As we go to the next round, around the corner, the movement that you hear coming into sight, not close to you, but there, another one. It spots you and looks at you. Hiss! And it looks hungry. You hear more motion, more movement coming from the around the corner, but you see nothing. You're next. What do you do? We're just basically playing this to see how you die.
Yeah, no.
It's getting
Changed into a
dire.
completely different game.
Yeah, something happened. Now, before we go any further with this, since we passed about 12 or so seconds have passed, I'm assuming that not Magnolia, but Althea and Sheppi, you are still hauling, because it's going to take you quite a while to get where you're going. And Dane, think for a moment. Are you there, Dane?
Of course.
All right, think for a moment. Put yourself in Sheppi's shoes, considering how he would play as best you can. Once you catch up with Althea, she's dead set on running out of here. You can speak while you're running, but are you just following suit, or are you going to try and grab hold of her and say, wait a minute? Or are you just going to haul ass? So this is up to you. You've been running for a few rounds so far.
Oh boy. This is really the disconnect here for me, Fritz, because I know what Dane would do. I've got a pretty good idea of what Valifor would do. Valifor's going to... Sheppi's going to stay with Althea.
I think so. I agree.
I can't do the voice, but he's going to go on this wild tangent about, we left them out there. We must gather others and go back.
Yeah, he would do that. And
He
Althea?
just chokes on her tears. She's trying to talk, but it's just a garbled mess.
So
She's wiping her eyes and trying not to get lost and retrace her steps.
Let's go, Sheppi, lead the way.
And like the farther she goes, like the slower her pace becomes, because like, you know, the adrenaline of battle is kind of wearing off now that she's just been running, and obviously they're not following her. They probably would have caught up by now if they had. So I guess for however far she was able to get, I don't know where that is exactly, but she'd probably stop and catch her breath. And then talk it out with Sheppi.
it doesn't really take that long. You get outside that secret door that led you here. And I think it's at that point, at that little beach where the dinghy boat is, which is actually a lot closer than you think. But I think that would be the moment you would take pause and have this little talk. But that's where you are right now. And you're faced with choice. Your friends you've left behind out of fear, terror, and made off. Perhaps the wise decision indeed. What would Desna say? Perhaps she's leading you. Sheppi, loyal friend. He's rescued you a couple times now. And likewise, you have. And you both find yourselves here at this ledge, dinghy before you. You could easily hop in it and start paddling away. Or you could head up those little steps to the left, which led to that shrine. Or you could... Maybe we should go back. But that's where you are right now, physically. Because I'm stopping you and pausing you here for a round or so, because once you hit this spot, you're kind of like decision time. Dinghy, steps, so you can kind of catch your wits. But it is up to you. If you go up the steps, go on the dinghy, turn around, just sit here and just hunker and wait a while. That's totally up to you. But that's where you are at the moment. So think about that briefly.
Okay.
And we'll go back to Magnolia, who's actually in a situation of incredible heroics. It all depends on what happens here. You've taken a beating, but you're still standing. You've entered this chamber. It shut the door on you. You could burst your way back through and have to face him once again, or fresh ghouls stand in front of you.
Yeah, I'd rather deal with the ghouls. So Maggie is going to, in terms of game mechanics, drop the torch on the ground, and draw. But what she actually does is she throws the torch at the one furthest away from her to show light into the room as she draws her longsword. I don't believe she can target the one to like the upper left of her, so I don't even think she knows about it technically. So she's going to step forward and oh boy. Yep. Step forward and just start wailing into these guys.
Free action, step. You got one more action or two more actions. Go for it.
All right. I'm gonna be targeting this guy first.
Okay, go for it. Just roll.
All right.
Let's see if
How you
you can
doing?
work. No hero point? Oh, it's a critical. Yes. Roll your damage. Slashing. 20 points of damage. Describe how you cut this beast down before you in one fell series of blows.
So, Maggie runs into this room, a look of fear in her eyes, but with the momentary, like, realization that, you know, she can essentially bunker down in this room despite these enemies. She does a quick prayer under her breath to Iomade, asking for her protection, throws the torch and draws the longsword as it's flying towards this dude, and while he's like distracted by the torch, runs up and just overhand slashes down from the into his shoulder blade and cutting deep into his chest for her first strike.
Excellent. And by
And
the way,
she's going.
go ahead.
Then for her next action, she's going to unsheath the sword by kicking him off the blade and stab it into the next dude right next to her.
That's the one right in front of you. He's going to attack with you. Claws, claws reach to you. Flesh. What's your armor class? Oof.
It should be 18 currently.
Wow. 6 points of slashing damage. And make a fortitude save.
Now before I make this save, I don't know if this applies or not, but the paralysis from earlier that I broke out of, am I immune to those because I saved from that earlier?
I don't think so.
Dang it. It's worth the attempt. But hey.
You fended off. Okay, make another fortitude save. Okay, you're okay, but you do take 5 points of slashing damage from a series of remaining claw strikes. And the next one is going to charge forward with a leap. It leaps into the air, and at the end of that leap, it comes down on you with an attack. Sensing blood. And it does some damage as it connects with its claws. You're going to take some piercing damage. You're going to take 5 points of piercing damage and make a fortitude save. You are hardy indeed. You're going to take some more damage, and you're going to make another fortitude save. 3 points of slashing damage.
I'm still up. Fortitude?
Fortitude.
Come on, one more.
28. Yeah, its final attack misses. Leap attack, attack, attack. Alright, so you're up. You fended them off after felling this one. You are still enfeebled.
Yep. So, suffering blow after blow, Iomade guide my strikes.
Yes. $24. That is a hit. That
All right.
is not a critical.
Dang it.
Roll your damage. 6 points. Which one was this on?
I will say the one on the left.
Okay. What's next?
I'm gonna follow up and keep focusing on the same one.
Okay.
So close.
5 is a failure. You got one more. Don't forget you have a shield.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, whether I'm gonna raise my shield or not.
You're at armor class 19. I don't think enfeebled affects your armor class. No,
No.
just strength.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd rather play it defensive in this case.
All right, so you raise your shield.
Yeah.
All right. Althea, what have you decided with Sheppi by your side?
Well, it looks like Jesse's back in the chat, and I wanted to wait for him to
Okay.
be here before making any decisions.
All right,
Okay, what's going on, guys?
fill him in, Althea.
So basically, we've run fairly far, like a couple rounds worth at our speed of 25 feet or whatnot.
Right.
We're kind of back near where the water is with a little boat. And we've stopped, kind of catched our breath, and we have to decide, do we keep going or do we turn back? And we don't know this, but Maggie's still fighting. And she's kind of cornered in a bad place right now. But we do know that Dane is in a locked room. He's dying. Or at least that's what Althea saw,
I've
as
got
well
an
as
enemy.
Devon.
Yeah, like we both have an enemy in front of us with a butcher knife.
Yeah,
We're about to be skinned.
yeah, that was essentially what caused Althea to go running, as she saw both of them down and this very strong to her enemy.
Yep.
So she wants to keep running because she feels so powerless. She has no more spells other than her cantrips, which is shield, light,
Pretty useful.
stabilize. She has stabilize, but if there are enemies around, she can't use it without, risking.
Going down herself.
Exactly. And that was the whole idea, but it took me so many turns just to. You were so far away that stabilize is a 2-action turn. I just couldn't make it. But anyways, essentially Althea wants to keep running, but if Sheppi convinces her, she might turn back. But like I said, she's truly powerless. She's got, electric arc as a cantrip. She still has guidance from the pendant. She does not have her focus. No more healing. She has sound burst, but I was saving that in case we ran into trouble on the way out. But if I use that, I could accidentally do 2d10 damage to my allies around me if you fail your fortitude save. So
I can take it.
it would be a bad turn of events if the monsters succeeded the save and all my allies failed it,
Yeah, but it's only 2d10. My maximum is 44. I can take it, Althea. I can take it.
Well, it's too late for that because she's already
Yeah.
run away. But
But yeah, Sheppi, I don't even think, like you said, Althea, like it's very strong to you. It wasn't just strong to you. Like I didn't even get a hit off,
yeah,
and it just down. Like I walked in and said, "Surrender, get down," and it bitch slapped me and said, "Get down, son."
If you change
That's
your
she
the
mind,
thing. If
Mhm.
we go back, I do have spells that could probably kill maybe one of the creatures, but I don't know.
She also saw that other creature she believes is still alive, and he looked very threatening. And that's not including the ghoul-like creature that was actually in the room with Dane.
And he
And
also
it's a
has,
barred room, and she can't unbar it. She's too weak.
yeah. And Sheppi's no strong
if you hustle,
character either.
if you hustle from where you are, you could make it in 2 rounds. You can get back to that chamber. Just so you know that.
And I really feel like if we go back, I'm just gonna die. And we're gonna have a good old TPK on our hands.
Yeah,
Yes.
because
yes. Come.
we're tapped
Come.
on everything.
Come back.
How close to death is Maggie?
Come.
We don't know.
We don't know, but she is near death. That's what I meant by she's in a predicament. But we don't know that. Last Althea saw, Maggie was paralyzed.
Yeah,
And
that's
that
the
was
last
another
I thought.
reason why she ran away, is because, well, what comes after being paralyzed other than being completely taken over and brought down?
Yeah, also the creature tried to mind control me before I left. Tried to make me lay down prone on the ground.
So, what I need to know right now, are you going to make a decision and continue moving out the exit, remain where you are, or head back down?
Well, in my opinion, if we go back, we're all dead.
Okay.
So
Same. Yeah, keep running,
Yeah,
I guess.
we need help.
Okay. We'll go back
Like
to
I'm holding on by a mere thread here. If this guy starts hacking and heaving, yeah.
Maggie.
We-
We're coming back to you now.
We have to get to the fishery. We have to find Arthurian.
we have to let Tamley know that
We
Dane's
need
dead.
backup. Yeah.
All right, you're done, right, Maggie? You raised your shield. That's it. I believe so.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so we're going to go to the creatures as you make this heroic last stand.
Come at me.
Oh, another update is that Maggie's still down there because she's raging, and that's kind of muddled her judgment.
A little bit.
It's complicated.
Yeah, to say the least.
You actually lucked out on that. And let's see if it continues with the third attack. Where'd your rage go?
It said it ended, so I
Just-
just removed the effect.
So
I
run.
think
How
it's
many
because it's
turns
been
has it
longer
been?
than a minute.
Huh. Yeah, 10 times 6, 60. Yeah, it's a minute and 2 rounds. Wow. 12 rounds.
I wonder if that just might save you so you can run away.
All
Yeah,
right.
but if Maggie runs away, she's
Oh.
going to run right back into the jaws of the other creature.
Depends on her
Maybe.
speed.
Maybe. She's faster than we are.
But if you
Yeah.
leave, he might not pursue you because he was saying intruder, you know. But if you leave his space, he hasn't gone to you in that room, so unless
Don't
he's in the
give him any
hallway.
ideas. Don't give him any ideas, Rachel. I'm already dead. We all know it. I'm making a new character now as we speak.
As you raise your shield after laying into these creatures and fending off their blows, they just come down on you from both sides. They're just coming down on you with claw after claw after claw. You can feel the spit come from their mouth and touch your flesh. They're hungry. But they all miss. You manage to fend off all these attacks, and you're up next. And that's legit. You have 2 hit points remaining. You are in
I
feeble.
know.
Come on, Patrick, you got this.
Yeah.
It's another Pathfinder game. Come on.
I'm sweating buckets here, Alan.
I know.
I've
I know you
never been as anxious as I am right now.
are. You are.
But I am going to continue swinging.
You are.
I think that just hits. 16.
You are correct.
I'm still going after injured one, by the
You
way.
are. You are. Slashing damage. Does your luck hold out with 10 points? 10 points. Is that enough? Almost. Almost so close. You could
Dang it.
almost taste the flesh yourself. That was one attack.
Yep. Follow through.
It's almost a 20.
You miss. Clang against the side of the wall. You almost fall over onto the table. Lunch is served. You got one more action.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna raise my shield instead.
All right, you raise your shield. There's nothing behind you. Everything is before you. Silence, except for the battle in front. Your shield is raised. Conservative is next, and he is quite conservative. And he's going to launch at you with more claws of goodness. Little bits of flesh to taste. Did I do it right? Yes, I did. 24. And that is not enough. I'll tell you what, raising your shield helped you in the last round. Big time.
Plus, if you're not raging, you get that AC point back.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You do get those temporary hit points while you're raging. I suppose they went by the wayside pretty early.
Yeah.
Pick a number from 1 to 6.
Ew.
And you are still enfeebled. With
Yes.
with a series of claws that come down upon you, your shield is knocked aside. Just then, one particularly brutal rake across your chest gives you 2 hit points of damage.
Alright.
You collapse to the ground. And all is black. I won't ask for a fortitude save. But you are dying 1. And I'd go back to Althea, but I know what she's going to say. Yep, out of here. Gone.
Yep.
Even if it took 2 rounds to get down there, Magnolia would have fell.
Yeah.
And then we certainly can't hold up to it.
Yeah, let alone like if we were in the room trying to get to the room.
So what we'll do, Patrick, I'm not going to have you make any more rolls. We're going to leave that. Okay? And the same goes for Dane, and the same goes for Devon. Nobody knows at this point what's happening. So what we're going to do is we're going to push this forward really quick. We're at 10:48. We're going to push this forward really quick into Otari. You can make yourself escape this place, this gauntlight, Sheppi and Althea. All right, we'll leave it at that, and you can make your way back to Otari, and we'll push the time forward. I would like Patrick to grab a hold of Farleytell when we get in there. And where would you like to go when you get back to Otari? It's going to be... Oh, yeah, different group. Let me see. Where were we? Oh, man, it's nighttime. It's going to be about 10 o'clock, a couple hours before midnight. By the time you arrive in the darkness, the dark vision of the... I don't know if the gnome has it. Do you have dark vision? No.
No, so.
I have low light, but my feet are still glowing.
All right. For all you know, Patrick, Magnolia has fallen to the blows of these ghouls. Dane, same thing. He's unconscious. He's not dying. Because nobody knows or seen somebody really die yet except the player in control. So nobody really knows. So we're going to leave that for a moment. We're going to go back to Otari with those that are still living and alive, and that is the 2 demi-humans. And Patrick, I'd like you to grab a hold of Farleytell as he sits around the Rowdy Rockfish, and in late at night. You often go to the Rowdy Rockfish at night after all the research you do. Talk with your friends when they're around. And there walks in Althea and Sheppi. So Arthurian wouldn't be there because he's actually out at this time of night. He's out looking for owl bears late at night. That's what's going on with Arthurian. Yeah, just him.
So Valifor and Elias aren't there either. They're all out in the woods.
They're all out in the woods?
Yeah, well, that's okay. I've got Farley, Althea, Sheppi, and the only one missing is Arthurian. But word will get through to you the next day, so...
I'll be booking it back then.
Yeah, morning the next day, everybody's together again. So keep that in mind for the narrative here. But yeah, Sheppi, Althea, and Farleytell, you guys are having this conversation.
Do we know any NPCs that could come with us?
Not yet, just Devon.
I'm gonna say, does Devon have any? Did he mention any friends?
Has he got any friends? Farleytell, Althea, and Sheppi. What's going through your mind? What are you talking about? You just got in. It's about 2 hours before midnight. You've just experienced the horrors of the gauntlight.
All right. Sheppi. Our brother has fallen. We need to go back. They may not be dead. We have to go now.
There's no time.
Quickly.
Come. Yeah.
Quickly. We must go.
What is it that is happening?
Dane, Magnolia, Devon. They all fell to the creatures of the gauntlight. We're not sure if they're dead, but we have to save them. We cannot wait. We have to go now.
Dane. Wow.
Well, what's your intention here? What are you thinking?
We need to go back and save them by killing off the rest of the creatures and giving them medical aid.
I'll tell you what. Because of the time situation here, Arthurian, you're just not there. You won't be there till morning. If you guys want to head back now, which I'm thinking you might, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like a very dire situation.
Are you sure, Althea? You don't have any magic.
Yeah, well, I was going to suggest that Althea is too scared to go back,
Elias,
and she's going to retreat to the Dawnflower to heal and to repent because she just left her friends dead. She feels absolutely awful. She's out for a week. And then I'll just pick up with Elias
All right, that would
the
be
next day.
The next day, then. So you're not going right back tonight. You're gonna wait.
Yeah.
Well, in that
Like
case,
Sheppi and Farley Tell can go, but once
Then
Althea gives
Arthurian
the
and
word.
Elias will book in there in the
Yeah.
morning.
all right. So what about you, Sheppi and Farley Tell? You've heard news of this dire story here of fallen.
I'm not at my
warriors.
full capacity.
All right. So I think you're all in agreement. Wait a day.
Yeah, we're just going to have to wait, I guess.
All right, 8 hours of sleep. You get your full allotment of spells and focuses back. You can do that.
And
And,
then we'll be full.
and meet up with Arthurian, who happens to be at the Dawnflower. Althea, you probably meet him there the next morning. And this will be, let's see, we're going to say at least 10 hours go by. You get your sleep, or 8 hours. You get your sleep, all safe and sound. So this will be... let's push this ahead to sunrise the next day. We'll advance till dawn. Everybody's, you get your constitution times your level back in hit points as natural healing.
Say that again?
Your constitution modifier times your level, which is 3. You get that amount of hit points back as natural healing. So you got that back.
Yeah, if you're looking at your character sheet, there's a little bed icon underneath your max HP. You can click that and it should automatically do it for you.
Yep, it did. Thank you.
Okay. And let me double check my notes real quick. So I could time this just right for Arthurian. To see what exact time of day it is by the time those guys get back. And Althea, you could bump into Arthurian as he arrives at the Dawnflower carrying some red crimson cloaks, which you kind of recognize. So go ahead and play that out the next morning.
Arthurian will show up at the Dawnflower. He's got a massive set of bandages across his face and neck. Well packed, blood dripping through it. As he approaches the gate. Gaining entry.
It's about 8 a.m. the next day that this happens. Valifor's nowhere in sight. Farley Tell, you went back and you got your rest as well, but you're greatly concerned about your friends and what's happening. And you've got news to share yourself. You've gathered early in the morning, as planned, at the Rowdy Rockfish. And there you, or wherever you meet your friends, wherever your plan was. You can be with Arthurian and Althea if you want. Or Sheppi. Where are you, Sheppi? 8 a.m. the next morning.
Sheppi was consoling Althea.
Okay.
Oh my.
Yep. He
At the
feels bad.
library.
Oh my.
He feels bad.
Yes, he does. All right, so perhaps you're all gathered at the Dawnflower at this point, sticking together, the four of you. Valifor is nowhere to be found. He's doing something else, actually, and we'll get into that later. But it's about 8 a.m. in the morning. What are your plans? You get your
Time to
spells and
go.
focuses back as well, so do that.
Yeah,
Time
I'm
to
gonna have
book it back.
Arthurian look to Sheppi and be like, "What's happened, lad?
Terrible. Terrible.
Slow down and speak to me, lad. What happened?
So awful.
Speak, lad. What happened?
Evil creatures.
Spit it out, lad."
They killed everything. Terrible.
They killed who, lad?
So we made it to the bottom levels of the dungeon.
All
We
right.
encountered some kind of creature that was trying to control our minds. Ghouls everywhere.
Oh,
Dane opened the door. Was ravaged. It locked them inside. We don't know exactly what happened, but we couldn't get in because he locked it.
so you mean to tell me the big lad's dead?
Not looking good.
Well, lad, what the hell are we standing around here for? About 7 race tits? Get your ass moving, boy.
That's what I said. Let's go.
Arthurian's gonna book it to the market. I'm gonna switch out my equipment while I'm here for it.
Okay, go for it. And another hour or so of preparation if anybody wants to do anything. So again, Althea, if you want to swap any spells, do your thing. Your preparation list, I should say. And Farley Tell, it's been a while. Get familiar with him again. For the moment, anyway. Patrick.
Yep.
Look at your spells and put them in order, which you think would be appropriate. Get that all set. I think only Arthurian has some damage to his hit points.
I got a couple.
Yeah, you can buy healing at the Dawnflower. They don't support you yet, so there's no discount. So there would be a price for that. We can handle that in the next session. But yeah, we'll pick up from Althea's place at the moment. You'll gather. So we've got to head back. Let us go. At least we'll retrieve the bodies and give them proper burials. Says Devon because he's not here, and it makes all the sense in the world. But yes.
We need your healing, Althea. You must come with us.
Dane comes back a few minutes. Yeah, Dane. Arthurian comes back a few minutes later, wielding
It's
this
a miracle.
wielding this huge maul, this big massive warhammer. I'm ready, lad. Proper dwarven weapon, not that pitiful ass blade. Let's go. Let's get hammering.
And it is
Who's
then.
this open fun?
It is then as you step outside of Althea's house in the streets, leaning against a rapier. I am the great Fernando. I come to join you. I've been living here by Rin.
Piss off, lad. We got stuff to do.
Okay, see ya. Well, that's that. No more NPCs. Next. You had your chance.
Why? All right, someone's got to tie up Kyle's mouth. You're lucky this isn't in person.
And that was Felindor
Jesus.
Gaston, my second NPC. Gone. Swashbuckler extraordinaire. Gone. Okay.
No, it's swashbuckler. So the entire time, Althea just has this somber look. She is absolutely silent, and she'll follow, but she's quiet. She's mourning. She doesn't want this to happen again.
Yeah, I think, like I mentioned, it's like, at the very least, go down and get the bodies before they consume them. And I think being a follower of Desna, that would be a big deal for you. It goes against so many things. So there's a new motivation, although it's dark and sad. But still, the mission is still a priority. And without saying a word to anyone else, let's get back in there before they know we all got half killed. Let's go back. But that's where we'll pick up in the next session. The only thing I'll say is that not everything is as it seems. And we'll leave it with that. And we'll pick up with the new companions, Sheppi, Althea, Arthurian, and Farley Tell.
Mm-hmm.
And Binley.
Yes, don't forget Bentley.
Yeah, where's
always
he
there.
been?
He's there.
In my
He's the
pocket.
Oh,
he's,
okay.
he's always with me, just cowering. His outward expressions are Althea's inward feelings.
And we'll pick up with this in the next exciting episode. Folks, that was fantastic. Episode 22. I can't wait to find out what happens. I'm excited. I'm stoked. You guys can say goodbye now. And we'll start off with Kyle. You're always first.
Sure, you want me to go first?
You go first, my friend.
Oh, for the last time I went first, I got my ass ganked. But salute my friends. Once again, another fantastic session from Fritz. Everybody give Fritz a huge round of applause. Give Maggie a huge round of applause for lasting as long as she did. Give Althea and Sheppi a huge round of applause for going to get help. We solely need it. And everybody can give me a sort of a swift kick in the butt for letting everybody down tonight. Once again, I do apologize. But it was fun playing with you guys.
It
And
was.
salute my friends.
Fantastic. And of course, Rachel, I appreciate you hanging around to the very end. You played your character perfectly to the role, and I always enjoy it. Say your goodbyes, if you would be so kind.
Of course. Have a good night.
And that's it. Slam.
And that's slam. Time for me to run away. But no, I really appreciate you setting things up and giving us another good session. And hopefully next time we come up to a situation like this, we'll remember, rest first, then explore.
Hey, I was gonna rest, but you guys wanted to take a look at the bookshelf.
Yeah, and Sheppi did mention, like, hey, or somebody did, hey, what is that room big enough for us to rest in?
Yeah, that
It wasn't
me.
that big, so.
It's good
But
fun.
we should have.
It's good fun. Jesse, feel free to say your goodbyes.
All right, guys. It was a somber adventure today. Hopefully there's more to this than just seeing our fine brothers go down in battle. But we'll leave that to next session. And I really had fun. Thanks to our fantastic GM. And as always, the arms, my friends. We'll see you next time.
Appreciate that. I can't do that. I can't do this without you guys. You know that. We all feed off each other, so it's a group thing. But I appreciate it. Patrick, you're up next, my friend, with your brand new microphone. The hero of the night.
Yes, I know.
Almost.
New microphone, not much role playing for me to test it out, but
We
a
heard
lot
you
of
good.
combat. Yeah, that's a good test.
It is.
Yeah, and I almost had it. It was so close.
But it's not over yet.
Yeah, well, as far as I know, I don't.
Exactly. And we'll see what happens perhaps next week. But the characters, the heroes, the companions are heading back, this new little group, this time with Farley Tell, an extraordinaire wizard. And folks, we're going to see you guys next week. Till next time, folks, you guys hang in there. You know why. It's only going to get better. Toodaloo!